Consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work, including their efforts to rescue animals in need, certify the humane treatment of farm animals, help ensure the safety of animals on the silver screen, and protect our planet's amazing endangered species at americanhumane.org.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower use for adults only.
You get up every morning and make it all work. You make the hospitals and the labs work. You keep the shelves stocked, the cash registers ringing, the production lines producing. At Vestas, we have the uniforms and workplace supplies you need to do what you do every day. When you think uniforms, floor mats, first aid kits, restroom supplies, think Vestas. Vestas, uniforms and workplace supplies for the people who make it all work. Learn more at Vestas.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Hey, you know life throws you curveballs. Stress, anxiety, and unhappiness. I'm Dave Raymond, keynote speaker, and yes, the original Philly fanatic. And I want to talk to you. I've been sharing my message around the world. It's a message about how fun and happiness can make the world a better place and can save your life. Contact me now at DaveRaymondSpeaks.com. I'd love to speak for your team at your next company outing, conference, or meeting. See you soon at DaveRaymondSpeaks.com.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me, 40 days up to 40 pounds. Visit njdiet.com or call 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Tuesday, October 17th. It is indeed Kayal and Company right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app and streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube. As we head until 10 o'clock this morning, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Twitter and Instagram, the radio station, at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal. K-A-Y-A-L. Dawn Stenzlin with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Daniel Valdez. Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers. Anything good happened last night?
No, pretty slow news day.
I agree. I don't know how we'll get to 10 o'clock today, Dawn. I have no idea. But we will push forward.
We will persevere.
Good morning, and how are you, Dawn?
Good morning. Doing great.
Gregory.
I just realized we didn't make a bet yesterday at the end of the game for last night's Phillies game.
I thought about it, too, on the ride home.
I went back and I looked through my notes from yesterday's show, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. We didn't bet on anything.
I know. And I picked on Twitter. I said 5-2 Phillies.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
It was 5-3.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I didn't. Yeah.
Pretty close.
Wow, look at you.
Pretty close. But we'll take it.
I'm taking you to Vegas with me.
Vegas, baby, Vegas. What happens in Vegas? Well, your money stays in Vegas usually.
Home run derby last night.
I know, right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Schwarber.
First pitch.
You know, like 10 minutes into both games of the Phillies and Monday Night Football, it was 2-0 Phillies, and the Cowboys were down 7-0 before they knew what hit them. I was so happy. And then the Cowboys won. We got a lot of good stuff to get to this morning. The show must go on when it comes to Joe Biden and Donald Trump. That'll be the theme of yesterday's developments in the Big Take. We also have some other stuff in regards to positive news with Trump. When you factor in Mr. Kennedy as the X factor, Biden apparently has more money than the whole Republican Party combined. We're going to get to that story. We've got updates from the Middle East and even some local stories with Middle Eastern potentially implications. We've got a Drexel dorm fire that we need to discuss. And when in doubt, just blame it on, as what they say, conservative radio.
Yeah.
Blame it on those deplorables that are given the platform to talk about their stuff. So we'll get to all that. And by the way, too, maybe the greatest fight video I have ever seen, and it did not involve two humans.
What?
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, folks, don't mess around with kangaroos. They are not lovable, friendly creatures.
No, kangaroos are nasty.
They are.
SOBs.
They're kickers.
Yeah, they are.
Yes. They are bad.
Yeah.
And we will get to that as we continue this morning. But before all of that, let's get the latest with the world of news at 6:05. We go to the great Dawn Stensland.
Yes, and good morning. We are sponsored this Tuesday morning, October 17th, sponsored by Holland Floor Covering. So let's get to the news. This morning in Philadelphia, we do have a person arrested in connection with the killing of a Philadelphia police officer who was a uniformed officer who was fired upon. That suspect, identified by police as Yobrani Martinez Fernandez, 18 years old. So under arrest, in custody, and this is in connection with the killing of a Philadelphia police officer last week in a parking garage at Philadelphia International Airport. Their officer, Richard Mendez, 50 years old, was shot and killed after he, as well as his partner, another officer, 60-year-old Raul Ortiz, confronted several people who were breaking into a vehicle. That was late Thursday night, last Thursday. Officer Mendez, who'd been on the force for more than 20 years, was shot multiple times and he was rushed to the hospital and later pronounced dead at the hospital. We've talked about this. That reward continues to rise, and the private citizens, by the way, are contributing and can continue to contribute because that reward is going on $350,000. So they're still looking for two other individuals. But this individual, this 18, Yobrani Martinez Fernandez of Camden County, New Jersey, captured, arrested by U.S. Marshals, the FBI, New Jersey State Police, Philadelphia Police Homicide Division, moved in to make the arrest at the Days Inn there on Route 38. And as is tradition, they cuffed him with Officer Mendez handcuffs.
Good. Do we, by chance, do we have the website or the web address that people can make these donations to for the reward? That would be nice if we could put that maybe up in the YouTube chat later today for people.
Yeah, we'll get that. I know who assists with it is the Crime Commission.
Okay.
So maybe we should have Santo Montecave or one of those guys, even call in and talk about it. That's a great idea. But we also have the surviving officer, as we've mentioned. His partner, Officer Raul Ortiz, continues now. He was released from the hospital over the weekend, continues to recover at home from his injuries. And, I've heard different officers speaking out about, not just the physical wounds of recovering from being shot, but also losing your partner in that violent way, being fired upon. So they're still looking for the two other guys. Yesterday, during the Dawn Show, I will say that I broke down the fact that in May of 2021, it was a huge announcement that the Philadelphia International Airport, they were getting more than $100 million upgrade with these new camera systems and 4,000 cameras and so on and so forth. Well, these cameras were not working, were not functional. And so we do not.
On the night of the. Okay.
So we do not have from all of my from the sources I have, somebody even called in about it, but the police sources that I'm talking to, that's why we don't. Because think about it. Normally, we have a release of, some. And by the way, these are not supposed to be like the closed circuit TV,
Right.
the old school ones, because $100 million announced 2.5 years ago that they were replacing all of these cameras for our safety and the safety of a situation like this.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have the digital cameras. What was going on there?
Money well spent again.
Right?
Amazing how many times when you need digital footage and you need camera footage and surveillance, the system goes down. It's unbelievable, honestly.
Yeah. And so who's monitoring that? We were told that we were going to pay for the monitoring, 24/7 monitoring. So a lot of questions and a lot of anger, certainly by those in the law enforcement community and passengers traveling through PHL. So we're following that one. A 28-year-old man is dead after a drive-by shooting in North Philadelphia. This one happened overnight, last night into this morning. And police say this man was sitting on the curb outside his home when somebody pulled up in a car and shot him from the window. The victim taken to the hospital where he later died. 19 shell casings. So this was not random, but no weapon recovered. This was a drive-by, just taking this guy out as he's out by the curb, but by his house. Investigators hope surveillance cameras, I guess Ring doorbells are more reliable as cameras than what we've got at PHL currently.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Everybody should get a Ring doorbell cam now.
Did you mention that Officer Ortiz was honored at the Phillies game last night?
Well, I was going to
I'm sorry.
Going into the Phils, but that was an emotional celebration. I'll talk about it. That was an emotional celebration last night as Officer Ortiz, who we said just was released from the hospital on Saturday, and he got a standing ovation.
You did mention him in
yes, sir.
your other story, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right,
that he was released from the hospital Saturday, and that he's home now, but that he continues to recover. And part of that is, imagine your partner who you work with every single day. They've known each other 20 years. Is gunned down with you, gunned down on the job.
You probably spend
Shot
more
and
time.
killed.
You probably spend more time with that partner than you do your own family.
Than his own wife, than his own family.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Right.
And so it was emotional last night to see. I mean, I welled up. I'm sure most people did, as officer, as our Philadelphia officer, another hero. And this was I don't know. I know that Bryce Harper's birthday was last night, and that was exciting. But for Philadelphia police officer Raul Ortiz, who was injured, who survived that fatal shooting of his fellow officers, of his best friend and partner at Philadelphia International, he was honored during Game 1 of the National League Championship Series between the Phils and Arizona Diamondbacks. That was last night. And it was video was on the Fanavision that you could see there. It was just an exciting, exhilarating moment as he received that standing ovation from Philadelphia fans. And certainly the fans were a powerful force last night for our team, but as well, I would say a powerful force to say, we don't want to defund you, Philadelphia police, and we want to honor you. We want to say we appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
It was a beautiful moment for Philadelphia fans.
Sad that we have to get to this point where you start thanking officers and cheering them on, and it takes an officer being killed by a punk trying to carjack somebody or commit grand theft auto for us to appreciate police. Thankless profession.
Yeah, this is true. We can take you to the Middle East. There are fast-moving developments, and I'll just headline them. So we keep hearing the humanitarian situation and the Gaza Strip grows more dire each day because those civilians in the Gaza Strip have been without power, without water. And so Secretary of State Blinken has announced that the United States and Israel agreed to develop a plan to enable humanitarian aid from donor nations to reach civilians in Gaza. And there are many opinions on this one on all sides. President Joe Biden announcing he will travel to Israel and Jordan tomorrow to show support for the U.S. ally and to meet with Arab leaders. And so a United States president going into an active war zone, certainly this will take incredible levels of security to keep him safe.
I'm sure we'll get the same song and dance when he gets over there. You know, he'll trip up the steps.
Stop.
He won't know which way to go off of a stage. And if he's sitting down in, like, you know, some sort of, conference area and he's sitting there with his leg crossed, he'll look half dead, half asleep. He'll sound awful. I'm looking forward to the optics of this presentation. This will go smoothly.
And Special Counsel Jack Smith's office in federal court yesterday asking for that gag order, and is barring former President Donald Trump from maligning the judge, prosecutors, witnesses, potential jurors in his election obstruction case. And so prosecutors are arguing and winning the argument, although Trump's team is now, appealing this, saying that Trump is not allowed to talk or tweet on social media anything about the judge or prosecutors. But my favorite part of the story is that they agreed that because he's a candidate, he's allowed to say crooked Joe Biden, and he's allowed to say Department of Injustice.
Okay.
So he's now in court.
You can use the following phrases, Mr. Trump, but don't push it.
So he can say crooked Joe Biden, and he can say Department of Injustice, and that from a judge and prosecutors all agree he's allowed to say that.
Very nice of Judge Chutkin.
So that was kind of my favorite thing that came out of that. It was kind of dopey. But we do have great news. Last night, exciting news for our Philadelphia Phillies. Woo! One down. Well, it's a 7-game series, but still. We beat the D-backs, as Nick Kayal loves to call him. And what a birthday gift for Bryce Harper, celebrating his 31st birthday with a big bang, a 420-foot home run on the first pitch he saw in the NL Championship Series. So we won Game 1. We do have some to go, but let's get to some highlights. Bryce Harper has been the talk of the MLB postseason. He proved why once again, hitting that early home run on his birthday. Happy birthday, Bryce. Make a wish. Cut QA.
The birthday boy, and he swings and lifts it high and deep, and happy birthday, pal! Harper with a monster drive deep into right center. It's 2-0 Phillies.
So Bryce Harper has, as far as Wheeler, he pitched a gem with a lights-out performance that included 8 strikeouts. Here's what it sounded like. Was this the 100 decibel one, or was that Bryce's? But here's what it sounded like as he punched his 7th.
Rally towels are being twirled around. And now the 0-2 pitch from Zach Wheeler. Swing and a miss. He went after a high fastball, couldn't catch up. 7 strikeouts through 4 innings for Zach Wheeler. Another 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 12 in a row. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. It's the Phillies 4 and the Diamondbacks nothing.
I'll tell you what, everybody talks about this offense and these bats, but if Wheeler keeps pitching like this, Suarez hasn't lost in the playoffs in 2 years, and then throw in Aaron Nola.
Aaron Nola, yeah.
1 through 3, they're as good as it gets.
Yeah. I mean, he just gave up that 2-run home run in the bottom of the 6th or whatever it was.
Yep.
And then the bullpen looked a little spotty.
Yeah.
a little spotty.
A little bit. You got to have a little sweat on a Monday night.
Yeah.
Can't be too easy, right?
Yeah,
You want one more clip?
Yep.
So here's one more from our friends at WIP. Craig Kimbrell worked a scoreless 9th for the save. Finally, the Phils send closer Kimbrell to the mound, and as it leads to a game-winning double play.
So we go full again with a runner on at first. 3-2 the count. Kimbrell's ready. The kick, the pitch. Swinging a hot shot to third. Backhand boom to second. There's one. On to first. Game over.
Nice.
Around the horn, the Phillies take game 1 as Craig Kimbrell gets the save. Alec Bohm starts the game-ending double play, and the Phillies have a 5-3 win over the Diamondbacks here in the first game of the League Championship Series.
I got to say, Fransky was on his game last night.
Oh, he was great.
When Schwarber led off, he said
game.
something like,
hello, Kyle, or
welcome
something.
to the party.
Yeah. Welcome to the party, pal.
And then said the same thing to Bryce Harper when he smashed.
I'll tell you what, too, Kimbrell, he's been around forever.
He has.
He was a Brave and a Red Sox. I swear to God, that guy's been around for 15, 20 years.
Yep. Yeah.
He's like a talk radio host. He just never goes away.
Well, how about the fact that it was Bryce's birthday?
Yes.
You know?
And by the way, the
You
guys
get the-
down the hall for the sports station were talking about whether or not Bryce Harper, he's number 3, correct?
Mhm.
If he's the best number 3 in the last 25 years in Philadelphia, and they've compared him to Allen Iverson.
Iverson, yeah, that's what
And I was just thinking,
about.
like, whoa. I mean, that's a tall comparison to make.
They're oranges and apples because it's a different sport.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think they should.
I'm surprised, all the love down there for the Phillies that Jack Fritz didn't jump out of a cake for
No.
Bryce.
Well, he probably
on
had too
his
many Miller Lights to jump out of it.
on his birthday.
Yeah.
Singing happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Mr. Harper.
Yeah.
Bryce would have been, no thanks, sir. So game 2, Diamondbacks at Phillies tonight, 8:07 p.m. We are sponsored by Holland Floor, covering the region's premier flooring dealer, family operated for over 50 years, providing exceptional service, professional installation. Visit their 2 showrooms in either Wayne and Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more, hollandfloor.com. NBC 10 first alert forecast, 64 degrees, sunshine today. But by 8:07, by first pitch tonight, make sure you bring your favorite Phil's hat if you're going, your jacket, because after the sun goes down and by 8:07 tonight, we will be in the 50s, and with that breeze, it could feel more like 49 degrees. That's the NBC 10 First Alert forecast. This is Kayal & Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:18 here on a Tuesday morning as we get ready for another Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal & Company.
All right, the Big Take this morning. The show must go on. For the last 10 days, the number one story in America and around the world has been the savage and brutal attacks that Israel suffered at the hands of Hamas. That has garnered all of the attention in the media news cycle, and rightfully so, and probably will continue to do so for the coming days and weeks. But after a week and a half, the usual suspects have had enough of being put on the back burner and felt it was time to make some headlines. We're talking about judges with vendettas against Donald Trump and the House Oversight Committee's pursuit of Joe Biden. Today will be a monumental day for the GOP-controlled House as they will look to get Jim Jordan across the finish line to be the next speaker, but it will be pretty challenging. But Monday was about James Comer and his pursuit of President Biden in regards to classified documents. We will delve into those a little bit deeper in just a few minutes. But on the political prosecution and persecution front of former President Donald Trump, we once again saw a judge with a score to settle against Trump and history in the making. Here was MSNBC with the details of the breaking news yesterday. Listen and watch.
Minutes ago, Judge Tanya Chutkan announced from the bench that she will impose a partial gag order on former President Donald Trump. Specifically, she will prohibit all parties in the case, including Mr. Trump, from making or reposting any statements publicly targeting the special counsel, his staff, the judge's staff, or court personnel, and also will prohibit statements about potential witnesses and the subject of their testimony. So, for example, Mr. Trump will be able to criticize former Vice President Mike Pence, who, after all, he's running for president against in the Republican primary, but he won't be able to talk about Mr. Pence's potential testimony in this election case, in which, of course, Mr. Pence is a key witness. And this came after a 2-hour hearing, Andrea, that really put on stark display the clash here between the First Amendment and Donald Trump's ability to speak as he's running for president, and a judge's interest in keeping an orderly courtroom, preventing witnesses and participants from being intimidated, and preventing a jury pool from being tainted. And what this judge concluded is that these inflammatory statements that Donald Trump has been repeatedly making, calling the prosecutor deranged, attacking the judge, attacking witnesses, are out of bounds and have the potential to intimidate and even spark violence, threats from the public at large, and that he shouldn't be allowed to make them. Now, what Donald Trump's lawyers say that they will immediately appeal this order, and there's every reason to believe that the Supreme Court will ultimately have to weigh in on this. We're in uncharted territory here with a presidential candidate who has been gagged by a judge.
So you have Judge Tanya Chutkan, an Obama appointee, who is the federal judge overseeing the 2020 election interference case against Donald Trump in Washington, D.C., and she imposes a narrow gag order on him on Monday, which bars the former president from making statements targeting prosecutors, possible witnesses, and court staff. This is by far the most serious restriction a court can place on Trump's ability to speak out to the country, his voting base, and using social media outlets. Trump cannot slip up in front of a camera or microphone if he addresses the media. Trump cannot slip up at 2 a.m. in front of his keyboard on Truth Social. This basically ends Trump's ability to talk about special counsel Jack Smith and or Merrick Garland's weaponized attacks against him. To say this is a third world banana republic type move might be the understatement of the century. And Chutkan claims that her order is to prevent Trump from launching a, quote, pre-trial smear campaign that poses, quote, a danger to the administration of justice. This is basically a huge trap being set by the justice system to have Trump in contempt, as we witness the unprecedented silencing of a candidate for president. One would think that Trump's legal team will file appeal and appeal and appeal after appeal, and we will be hit over the head with a litany of motions and hearings about whether or not Trump violated an order. But from a legal standpoint, this could be the beginning of an unprecedented fight over what limits, if any, can be placed or should be placed on the speech of a defendant who is also campaigning for America's highest public office. While this is obviously a disgusting historic low blow for America, this could be a blessing in disguise. Almost everybody realizes that Trump is being targeted. Could this be exactly what he needs? His silence could be deafening. Even more people will notice. His polls will go up again, and it keeps Trump ultra locked in on his campaign messaging and how he plans on delivering for the country if reelected. It becomes less about a revenge tour and more about the true issues plaguing America: the economy, the threat of World War III, the southern border, law and order in America, and other campaign subjects. And that gets us to another subject, which is Joe Biden. Yesterday, James Comer and the House Oversight Committee made the following announcement, quote, "We are investigating whether classified documents President Biden was caught mishandling included sensitive information related to specific countries involved in his family's foreign business schemes that brought in millions for the Bidens." Representative James Comer is calling on special counsel Robert Hur to provide more information. Here is a brief portion of James Comer's letter. Quote, "The committee has developed significant evidence regarding President Biden's retention of classified materials at the Penn Biden Center in Philadelphia. Witness testimony, emails, and text messages established there were at least 5 current and former White House employees who coordinated accessing boxes which contained classified documents between 2021 and October of 2022. The committee is concerned as to why President Biden has not been fully transparent about the White House's involvement in accessing these materials prior to November 2nd of 2022. But don't take it from James Comer or yours truly. Take it from our favorite legal scholar, Jonathan Turley, who we quote a lot on this show and play audio and video of quite often on this show in these matters. Turley said the following yesterday on social media, quote, "If this new timeline is accurate, the question is whether Biden knew that the account being put forward by his staff and counsel was false. It also raises the question of whether the president knowingly possessed classified documents and lied about it. We still have to see if there is evidence to support such crimes, but what is clear is that the past narrative may no longer suffice. The new evidence would prove transformative, not only for the criminal, but the impeachment investigation of the president," end quote. So as we approach the 1-year countdown to the 2024 election, both sides ramping up their games as it's no longer early anymore. The establishment hell-bent on shutting down Donald Trump's mouth, and the GOP is scratching and clawing away at the Biden family and their alleged corruption day after day. And we know there's a 2-tier justice system that exists, and we know the slant in which both men are covered by the media. And we now know that neither side could sit by and have their agendas and narratives pushed to the back burner any longer. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take here on this Tuesday morning. If you have any thoughts or reaction, 855-839-1210 is how you get involved on the phones, on social media at 1210 WPHT, and of course on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210 WPHT hit the like and subscribe button to be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community. Come back and get some thoughts to Trump's gag order and the latest with Biden and classified documents as he makes his trip to Israel. House expected to vote for a new speaker at noon today. It's a busy morning here on Kayal and Company, and we'll continue with this right after this message from our friends at the Piazza Auto Group. I mean, I've been in this vehicle now for almost 5 months. I got to tell you, I love it every day. I really do. The 2023 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition, I got it right around Memorial Day from Piazza Honda of Springfield, and I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to when we get that first little splash of bad weather. Stalker's already preparing for it, sending out emails about us working remotely with the first sign of inclement weather. When I get done doing that show from my apartment after the inclement weather, I'm going to get in that Honda Ridgeline, and I'm going to floor that bad boy right down through Bluebell because it can plow through anything. But if you're a truck person like me, now is the time to visit Piazza Honda in Springfield. You can also check them out in Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading to take advantage of 0.9% APR financing. Or you can get special finance rate on all their other vehicles and cars. You don't have to be a truck person. How about the Honda Civic, the Accord, the CRV, the Pilot, and many more? The Piazza Auto Group, 17 brands, something for everybody, 35 locations, accessibility for everybody. It's my go-to for all things automotive. Check them out online right now for new or certified pre-owned vehicles. You can browse their inventory at piazzaautogroup.com.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Another chance to laugh. Join me at Parks Casino Club 360. It's another chance to come out and join us for a night of laughter for Joe Conklin's Comedy Night with MC Mike Baldini this Thursday, October 19th, 8 p.m., Club 360 Parks Casino. Enjoy great comedy with my man Kevin Downey Jr., Marion Groden. Tickets are just $20 and include your first drink. Doors open at 7 p.m. Go to parkscasino.com/comedy. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See you Thursday.
Have you heard all the talk about fresh pet food? Well, at Dogs and Cats Rule, when it comes to fresh, healthy ingredients, we lead the way. Hi, I'm George Parenti, and I'm here to tell you there's nothing better nutrition-wise than fresh food for your pet. Stop in to one of our 7 neighborhood locations and ask our expert staff how a real, fresh, meat-based diet can change your pet's overall health and well-being. Shop online at dogsandcatsrule.pet. Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
This is Mark Luca, president of Aqua, Pennsylvania. Did you know drinking tap water will save money and keep 38 billion plastic bottles out of landfills each year? Plus, our water meets tougher safety requirements than bottled. Ditch the plastic and put money back into your wallet. Keep a pitcher of tap water in your refrigerator or fill a reusable bottle if you're on the go. Aqua, an essential utilities company providing clean, safe, reliable water so you can trust what's in your glass. Learn more at aquawater.com. That's aquawater.com.
You're invited to witness a groundbreaking documentary, America's Retirement Dilemma, a documentary of Wall Street's rigged system, featuring powerful exclusive interviews such as the president and CEO of the leading analytics firm over Wall Street, Del Bar Incorporated, Lou Harvey, who explains why Wall Street is not set up to have a fiduciary duty to the everyday investor.
Wall Street is not set up to handle a fiduciary relationship. Too expensive to replace all of my compensation systems, retrain all of my people. The whole structure that's been built over the last 100 years would have to be turned on end. I would have to be brutally negative. We have an industry that has been built on caveat emptor, buyer beware.
Hear this and more exclusive interviews with powerful industry leaders, esteemed economists, and top researchers at the Springfield Country Club, October 24th. Registration is required. Call Crash Proof Retirement, 800-722-9728.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotics assessment in Walmart today, now in the foot care aisle.
Is the IRS after you? Do you owe them so much money you will never be able to pay them? Are they levying your bank accounts, garnishing your paycheck? Are you making monthly payments you cannot afford? If so, you need to call the Tax Problem Solver at 609-970-4634. I'm Charles Montesino, and I solve IRS problems. Do you have unpaid income or payroll taxes? Do you have unfiled returns? The IRS is starting to audit the employee retention credits. It doesn't matter. I can help. All I do is help people with IRS problems. I'm a certified public accountant and certified tax resolution specialist. That makes me one of the few people in the entire country that can help you. Again, my name is Charles Montesino, and I solve IRS problems. Call me at 609-970-4634 or go to taxproblemsolved.com. That's 609-970-4634. Call now and get started on the road to relief. Again, the number is 609-970-4634.
Life can get hectic. It's time to retreat from the noise. Take a breath. Visit Malvern Retreat House, the nation's oldest and largest Catholic retreat house, located on a stunning campus in Chester County. Surround yourself in God's beauty while you step back, reflect, and recharge. Malvern Retreat House hosts men and women's retreats, plus couples retreats, spiritual direction, recovery retreats, and more. For retreat information and schedules, go to malvernretreat.com. Retreat from the noise. Hear God's voice.
Hey, Paoli. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
.633, Kayal and Company, as we continue live here on this Tuesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. You want to jump in, 855-839-1210. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. Couple of things to get to here as we work our way towards hour number 2. We will get to the latest with the Middle East coming up in probably just about 10 minutes or so. As we have got some troops on standby. We've got troops apparently on the ground, some coming via the Red Sea. It feels like things are really starting to pick up. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when America will get involved, and obviously the way Israel will respond to Hamas and everything going on in Gaza. Also, more Americans than not say it is not America's responsibility to ensure peace and be the police of the world. We'll get to that poll coming up in just a few minutes. But some stuff locally here as far as national politics go with Donald Trump and Joe Biden. You pick up on the theme yesterday, and I'm not sure if everybody is paying attention to all of these cases because you lose track of what case Donald Trump is in court for and who's the judge and what jurisdiction is. Is it criminal? Is it civil? We know he's got the case in civil court in New York. We also know he's got the Alvin Bragg case in New York. He's got Atlanta, which will be televised in Fulton County. He's got Florida with the Mar-a-Lago classified documents. And, of course, he's got the election interference case, which we just referenced in the Big Take this morning in Washington, D.C. But by my math, of those 5 cases that we just rattled off, he has now been gagged in 2 of them. And I believe you will see this play out in each and every case. I think they will actually be prosecuted and litigated, just to steal a phrase from Christopher Wray of the FBI when he mentioned, don't be surprised if you see a bunch of copycat imitations of Hamas here in the United States. I think you're going to see copycat gag orders across the board by these judges. As yesterday, Judge Tanya Chutkan said, quote, "This is not about whether I like the language Mr. Trump uses. This is about language that presents a danger to the administration of justice. His presidential candidacy does not give him carte blanche to vilify public servants who are simply doing their jobs." And obviously, as we know, Trump is going to appeal. And Trump went to Truth yesterday, I believe, at some point and said, quote, in all capital letters, "will appeal the gag order ruling, witch hunt, exclamation mark." But this is, I think, we're going to see this across the board, Dawn, where, you know, these DAs, these prosecutors, and this is really, and this screams Supreme Court case to me. This screams all the way to the top of whether or not the government can infringe upon Trump's right to free speech and to say whatever he darn near pleases when it comes to these court cases. And it's almost like the judges are like, yeah, you can attack Joe Biden, but you will not attack my court clerk. You will not. So it's basically like you say whatever you want about Joe. Judge Tanya Chutkin's probably like, yeah, he is crooked. I know he's crooked, but you're not going to have full reign in my court to blast my people. And I think this is really going to be, and it's amazing if you think about it. Everything the last 3.5 years with censorship online and social media flagging you, it seems like more than ever the First Amendment is up for debate, according to some of these experts.
Yeah, it just shows you, though, how triggered they are.
They are.
You know, it's like trash talking sports. None of these people played any sports. He's not allowed to talk. Jack Smith is like, I don't want him to talk about me.
Yeah.
And the thought that, and I think a piece of this is how annoyed they are that he has the audacity to go out publicly and double down on this stuff and say, can you believe these guys?
Well, they probably, and it's his Fifth Amendment privilege not to take the stand in any case. And if I was Trump's lawyers, I would not let him take the stand in any case. But they're probably saying, look, if you have so much to say, don't say it on Truth.
Yeah.
Say it here in the court. Take a seat, get cross-examined by the prosecution, and say whatever you wish. But I think that would be ill-advised if you're Trump, because when he starts going off, then it's like you don't want to say something that you bite your tongue over and you basically shoot yourself in the foot.
But these individuals, they obviously, they can't stand him. They can't stand him, right? And now he's in the court and he's on the campaign trail. And the more he talks about it, he talked about it again on the campaign trail, and he just says, "Oh, I can't talk about it. They don't want to," and the crowd goes crazy. And so the more they do this stuff,
it works in his favor,
right? The more people, the whole thing gets more and more ridiculous, and actually proves his point.
Yeah,
that he lives rent free in their head, and that ultimately they're so triggered by him over politics that they're doing everything to just try to shut him down.
It's amazing. I tweeted this yesterday. It was just a random thought in the middle of the afternoon. Isn't it amazing that the left seems more triggered and hell-bent on Trump than they do Hamas?
Oh, definitely.
Like, let that sink in for a moment. Like, those on the far left hate this guy so much that they actually try to rationalize Hamas and pro-Palestinian causes more than they do a former president of the United States. Like, you don't have to like Trump. I get that. I've said that from day one. But the level to which some of these people go to just show you, like, he owns them. Like, he is legit. I always brought up my mother-in-law. Like, she can't stop talking about the guy, yet she despises him. And I'm like, you really got to let it go. It's like, he's not in office anymore. Decent chance he won't get reelected anyway. But these people, they can't let go of it. And he just is always on top of mind to them.
You should just ask her, how is everything these days?
Oh, that'll go over real well these days. Yeah, it's like, it's going to snow tomorrow. It's Trump's fault. Like, okay, yeah, I get it. You hate the guy. But the other thing that's interesting, and this is also a theme now. So we gave you in the last couple of days how Trump is doing in the battleground states. Gave you those polling numbers coming out of the weekend. He's beating Joe Biden in 4 out of the 6 battleground states. He's tied with him in 1 and slightly losing to him in the other. That's the first good sign. The second good sign is how we gave you the story about how Joe Biden has a Pennsylvania problem now. The net favorability rating for Trump and Biden is identical at about 40%. But now this comes out yesterday from Interactive Polls. And maybe we were all wrong, whether it was us on this show or the audio that we played, because when Kennedy Jr. announced last week in Philadelphia his official candidacy as an independent candidate, we were all of the belief, or most of us, were that, look, this is going to steal some votes from Joe, but at the end of the day, RFK Jr. is not a friend to the right. And a lot of the national pundits and the experts, so to speak, said this will work more against. It's going to hurt Biden, but it's going to hurt Trump even worse. Apparently, that is not the case here, because I've got the 6 battleground states from Interactive Polls, and the poll question is, when Kennedy Jr. is included as an independent candidate, how does it play out? In Arizona, Trump +5 over Biden, 42% to 37%. Kennedy Jr. gets 8%. In Georgia, Trump +3, 41 to 38 over Biden. 8% for Kennedy. In Michigan, Trump +2 over Biden, 40-38, 7% Kennedy. In Pennsylvania, they are deadlocked at 39% apiece. Kennedy Jr., 9%. North Carolina, Trump +3. Florida, Trump +8. I don't know. Maybe we all need to take a step back here for a moment and really start to think about whether or not Kennedy.
Guys, we're a year out.
But I'm saying
we're a year out. For God's sake.
We said he was dead with RFK, that this would kill Trump. You add him into these 6 battleground states, it's almost like the outcome doesn't change. Like you add a variable looking for a different outcome, and it's still Trump ahead in all these battlegrounds. And I know it's a year out. I know. We can only go on what we have right now. But maybe the Kennedy thing is not going to hurt Trump as much as we thought.
I never thought it would. I never said it would.
I never thought it would.
No, she was the one that said.
Yeah, I was. He doesn't listen to me. Oh, did you mention Officer Rowe?
I mean,
I'm with Greg. I'm like I'm at home. I just said that. I'm invisible.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of things I'm doing a lot of things over here, sweetheart.
That's what my husband says too.
I'll
write it on the fridge, honey. I'll put a big sign.
He dropped a sweetheart on you, Don. That was hashtag sarcasm. But like you were the one that said it will not. But we had guys that we get from the weekend shows and these polling experts that are on all the TV networks saying that it could work against Trump. It'll pull from Joe a little bit, but it'll work more again. Even Trump's own camp was saying that could be a factor. Again, it's polls, so what we say on October 17th might not play out on November 7th, 2024. That's for sure. So I just wanted to, but it's a pattern here.
Yes.
It's the swing states. It's the Biden, Pennsylvania problem. Now it's the RFK in the swing states. A lot of things are lining up in Trump's favor. And if it doesn't pan out, there'll be a lot of heartbroken people because I think a lot of us might take the bait again. So I just wanted to share that as we give a little counter of good news to the latest gag order against Donald J. Trump. But then we get to Israel and Hamas. And this is obviously a story that's not going to go away. I texted you guys last night in our group text. I was watching. I watched a little bit of Brett Baer. He had some experts on last night because I was looking for really just for nuts and bolts and facts. I didn't want to hear. I didn't watch the 5. I didn't want to hear opinion. I just wanted kind of the straight lace. Give me what I need to know.
It's hard to find.
It is hard to find, and Brett does a pretty good job of that, of having a panel on. So the United States now has 2,000 troops that have been basically put on prepare to deploy orders for possible support to Israel, although the administration is claiming these are not active on-the-ground soldiers in war. And then we are told that the United States has another 2,000 troops that will come via the Red Sea and will basically be on the shores, so to speak, just kind of observing, waiting to see. So that's 4,000 individuals. That to me waves. That's a red flag for me. And then I'm watching last night about how Hamas is really not overly sophisticated, but where it gets kind of dicey and sticky is Hezbollah. Hezbollah's got 100,000 troops. They have 130,000 drone missiles that if the United States intervenes or Israel goes on the counter, and people are anticipating any day that Israel will, go to Gaza and this thing's going to really kick off with a bang, so to speak. You add in the factor that the U.S. is lurking, Iran is kind of watching and seeing, and you got Hezbollah to the north. And I told you guys last night in the text, my gut feeling is this is a powder keg waiting to go off at any moment. And I think the one thing that we need to keep in mind, whether you're pro-war, anti-war, you don't want the U.S. involved, you just want to give some aid and some assistance, there's so many little nuanced battles here because with this intricate, like below-the-ground tunnels that Hamas has, according to one of the experts that Brett Baer had on, you can't just blow that up on the ground or through the air if you're the United States. Like, it's almost impenetrable. And then you factor in Hezbollah and how much more sophisticated and deeper they are with bodies. This has all the ingredients for like a massive cocktail to go off. And, this is really going to be an ugly thing. I don't, as much as I think that the United States and Israel can obliterate Hamas quickly, you add in these other characters like Hezbollah in the north, and this will not be pretty. And I don't think it's going to be easy for the United States. They also said how the United States, boots on the ground, the United States hasn't done well in wars. We have all the technology in the world. But as far as bodies and tactical warfare on the ground, that this country has not done great in recent conflicts. So if you think this story's going away anytime soon, I think you're sadly mistaken. It's only going to escalate. I'd be willing to bet this Middle East conflict, we'll just generalize it that way, it's going to be at least a third of our show for the next month.
The tunnels that you're talking about, I saw one. I read somewhere that some of the tunnels, even though they thought they had obliterated those tunnels, some go down 100 feet.
Yeah.
To your point, and that's why no matter what they do at the surface level, they're way deep, down there. And another report I saw said their picture maybe half of the New York subway system.
Mm-hmm.
You think of that extensive subway system.
Yep.
And oh my goodness, and then you wonder, are the hostages down there? And then Hamas is claiming
there's more now.
The Hamas claimed that they have 250.
Correct.
But the IDF Israel still says no. It looks they estimate 199, 199.
Yep.
But all the pleas from these parents coming out, it is just heart wrenching.
Yeah.
To see these parents and the one letter to the New York Times.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody knows my boy, please take care of him. And,
Right.
Oh my God.
Right. I mean, you look at Al Qaeda, ISIS, Hamas, Hezbollah. You can sit there and say, well, this one aligns more. At the end of the day, they all want death to the West. That's what they want. And they obviously want Islam to be the predominant religion of the globe. And, we see so many people, and again, now 10 days into talking about this, the way in which the media has covered it, the way the left has defended one side over the other, the way universities have had students protesting in support of Hamas, I am stunned, and I'm not naive to think that, look, anti-Semitism doesn't exist or racism doesn't exist. I've always said when we talk about racism specifically in this country, I think the supply does not match the demand that the media and the left calls for. But I might have been off on my rough ballpark assessment of just how much anti-Semitism there is in this country, because it has come pouring out in the last 10 days, especially in academia. And we'll get to some of these stories and some of this audio later. A lot of these Ivy League institutions, I mean, we're not surprised by anything. A lot of these universities, they're all left liberal leaning. But I mean, the way in which the anti-Semitism is just freely, and look, your right to protest, your right to free speech, but like the hateful delivery behind it. And then you see so many people that are pro-Palestinian in this country. I know Christopher Wray, the FBI director, said, be alert because there could be these they're not coming across the southern border, or they're not coming across any other port of entry in this country. They're already here. And I'm not talking about sleeper cells. I'm just talking about within the community itself, an overabundance of individuals that want death to America, yet they live here. It's a wild contrast. And I wanted to just mention this.
What you're saying, Nick, it gives me chills. It does. And because you know why you're surprised, why anybody's surprised, because we're half glass full, right? As Americans, we try to be positive and we try to think that's in the past.
Yeah.
And so this, at first I thought, okay, they're trying to be woke, or what are they trying to be? But at the end, I know Huntsman was out. There are many donors to University of Pennsylvania, which, by the way, not for nothing, but they didn't stop their donations when the girls' swim team was exposed to a 6'4" man with the full man apparatus in the locker room.
Yep.
But finally, this one has gotten their attention.
Mm-hmm.
So it's local. It's our own Ivy League school. I don't know if Trump has spoken out. That's his alum,
right?
Right. He's an alum of University,
Wharton.
Right?
Yep.
But to your point, Nick, and it's a great point. We had interviewed the ADL here for their yearly report, and they had talked about this was before. I just never wanted to think that this was true, this in this modern day. But I don't know how to explain it. There's no other way to explain it, and it's just shame on them. And they're the ones who say hate has no home here.
Right. Well, they're the biggest supporters of BLM, and then when it comes to Israel, they're anti-Israel.
What the heck?
Which is wild to me. Look, if you're anti-Israel from a conflict standpoint against another nation, like if it's Israel against Jordan or Turkey or Syria, I got that. But you're defending the terrorists over innocent Israelis who have a right to live, a right to claim their property and a right to protect their land. It's not like you're picking a side between Germany versus Italy in a war. You're picking the terrorists over the Israelis. You're picking people that want death to your way of life.
You want academia to change. The best way to do it is for the donors to say,
"Amen,
enough of this."
That's what they're doing.
Cut them off.
And if things don't change, our funding is our funding is going away. Watch how quickly these professors get fired, whatever, you know what I mean, or new ones are brought in. Watch how quickly academia changes once these donors start pulling their funding.
It's so true. And to Nick, to the point that you were talking about as well, just imagine if after 9/11 some other country said, USA, you should declare a ceasefire. You should have peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not allowed to defend yourselves.
Right.
And that's this is their, I mean, actually, it's more deadly over there right now with the death count, with nearly 10,000 injured, and the total death toll is rising by the day. But it's bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
And
then
just
you have
bizarre.
All of these hostages. And then you're hearing, well, if Israel does not go on the counteroffensive, we'll release these hostages. So let me get this straight. You want to kill 1,400 people, take people hostage, and then when you find out that, we're about to get obliterated, well, if you don't do it, I'll release them. I was only kidding. Like, no, I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. Payback's a you-know-what. But lastly, though, Americans are split on the responsibility that the United States has to ensure peace in the Middle East. And I thought this was interesting because America, for many decades, has been labeled the police of the world. We always intervene and step in, whether it's for a noble cause or for our own agenda or whatever it might be. But overall, only 46% of those in this poll that responded say that the U.S. has a responsibility to ensure peace in the region, while 50% say it does not. 3 in 5 Democrats, 59%, see this as a U.S. responsibility, along with 48% of Republicans and 39% of independents. So this is kind of interesting. So Democrats see this as more necessary, yet those on the left are supporting Hamas. 48% of Republicans say this is not our battle, yet we are the ones that are, by and large, standing with Israel and Jewish people that have been victims in this situation. So those two things don't align, so to speak, when you look at the math and you look at the who's on what side. But I would just say this. When you look at the United States, always, and I love this country, but always look at what the agenda, what the motive is, and what's the motivating factors. And, for years and years and years in the Middle East, it's obviously been about the 3-letter word. Oil. So for me, I feel like I'm in a tough spot because I hate war, and I'm like the opposite of Lindsey Graham, but these people have to pay the price for what they did. And this is Israel, Americans as well.
And Israel needs to do that, not the United States.
Well, and I think Netanyahu will.
Of course he will.
Oh, he's going to leave no stone unturned.
This is their fight. We need to let them fight it. We need to support them in any way we can, but we need to let them fight it and stay out of it.
Well, but 4,000 troops says we're not probably staying out of it, right?
Well,
it feels like just, be on high alert. Hey, at any moment I might hit the button. I mean, think about it. You got 2,000 going over now.
Yeah.
You've got another 2,000 on a vessel, basically almost docked along the shores of the Red Sea. Yeah. And Joe Biden's going to be there tomorrow. And by the way, that should not make you feel good either, because remember the last time Joe was in Israel with Herzog, he fell asleep basically sitting in his chair. I mean, this is an opportunity for America to show strength. And if this putt screws it up tomorrow, and trust me, all the global leaders will be looking. Russia will be watching, China, Iran, North Korea. They see more weakness, it'll be on full display. And trust me, that will not be a good sign for the United States. 855-839-1210 is how you climb in. Hour 2 is on the way. Dawn will have some news to kick off the 7 o'clock hour. And then also 2 more stories kind of under this Middle East Israel umbrella. A dorm fire at Drexel. Is it a hate crime? And also blame it on talk radio. We'll continue Hour 2, Kayal and Company, next.
There are so many discounts and offers at Cherry Hill Volvo. This 30-second spot is not enough time to share all the benefits of purchasing or leasing a new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Discounts and incentives for this month start at $5,000 and can be as high as $11,000. Purchase or lease a new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo now and take advantage of these fabulous discounts and offers. Visit us soon for the best selection of Volvos. The entire Cherry Hill Volvo team is waiting to partner with you.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
Like any good agent, we're here for the open house, for the closing, for handing over keys. But because we're realtors, we're here for so much more. Agents who are realtors volunteer at nearly 3 times the national average. We're working to broaden access to credit, increase affordable housing supply, and ensure fair housing for all. And realtors are bound by a code of ethics. We're here for it all. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
A psoriasis flare-up can make a walk in the park, well, no walk in the park.
It's that obvious, huh? I've tried so many lotions and creams, but I still have symptoms.
So those don't do enough to treat the inflammation beneath the skin, leaving you with those uncontrolled symptoms.
Makes sense, but what else can I do?
You can get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Make an appointment and, oh, you're already on it.
Hi, yes, I'd like to make an appointment.
Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Virtua Health is here for you, all of you. Here for the run-of-the-mills, the out-of-the-blues. Here for everything in between. And with our Rowan University partnership, we're here, rethinking the way academic medicine feels. Welcome to a more convenient, smarter healthcare experience. And that's more good for everyone. Find a Virtua physician or location near you at virtua.org. Virtua Health, now more than ever, here for good.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be a topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Kinetico water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Kinetico system removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap is crystal clear, all natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Mention DOM 2023 to receive an exclusive offer. DOM 2023. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
PNC's business banking team is built entirely around the way you like to do business. Need innovative mobile tools that let you manage your cash flow, monitor your payments, and more around the clock? You've got it. Need a team of business bankers who are ready to sit down and help you develop personalized strategies? You've got it. PNC is proud to be a part of the Delaware Valley community. Learn how PNC Bank can make a difference for you and your business at pnc.com/bank your way.
PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
You get up every morning and make it all work. You make the hospitals and the labs work. You keep the shelves stocked, the cash registers ringing, the production lines producing. At Vestas, we have the uniforms and workplace supplies you need to do what you do every day. When you think uniforms, floor mats, first aid kits, restroom supplies, think Vestas. Vestas, uniforms and workplace supplies for the people who make it all work. Learn more at Vestas.com.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal Company 701 as we kick off hour number 2 here on a Tuesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. Cut sheet coming up at 7:45. Also, two really wild and funny stories coming up later in the show. We mentioned the crazy story involving a kangaroo. Also, a study that shows us, and this will be as we wrap up the show around 9:30 this morning, ice cream and potato chips are just as addictive as heroin and cocaine.
Obviously.
I mean, Hunter Biden was the guinea pig for that, and he can confirm that's true. So we'll get to that story coming up a little bit later. Cut sheet will be loaded as well. We're going to get to how, when in doubt, just blame talk radio. If you want to call it conservative talk radio, if you want to call it free speech radio, we'll get to that story. And also a Jewish dorm room at Drexel University here in the city. Apparently set on fire, and investigators are trying to make sense as to whether or not it was an intentional hate crime. We'll get to that story as well, but let's get to the news, round number 2, and away we go with Dawn Stensland at 7:03 on this Tuesday morning.
And we are sponsored this morning in our news, October 17th, Tuesday, as Greg Stocker says. We're sponsored by Rhino Shield. So in the news, one of the big stories, the manhunt continues for 2 armed and dangerous suspects accused in the killing, the shooting, the firing upon of 2 Philadelphia officers, one who died, the other who survived. And so that reward continues to rise for information leading to an arrest of those suspects. The award stands at least $237,000 and counting by the minute. $237,400, I should say. So no doubt as those donations continue, they're dangling that reward saying, we need more phone calls. We need somebody to turn these guys in. You know who they are. So this suspect, ID'd by police as 18-year-old Yabrani Martinez Fernandez. So he was arrested in Cherry Hill at a motel there. However, he resides normally in South Jersey, in Camden, New Jersey. And no word, he's 18, so we don't have word of his priors yet because usually those juvie records, as we've talked about, juvenile records are shut down and not made public. Mm-hmm. So as this proceeds through court, we'll find more information out about this individual. But he was taken into custody, and they're waiting for him to be extradited from South Jersey into Philadelphia, where he faces first-degree murder charges.
You know, I just had a thought. Let me just throw this out to you, and I'm just spitballing here. I know you're supposed to protect these minors under the age of 18. I think it's time we do away with that. I think if you're 16 or 17, it should be public information. I get it. If you're 12, maybe not so much. But once you get to the point where, you know, you're in high school and you can drive a car, I think we need to, and I know it's, you know, something that's looked at based on jurisdictions and, you know, localities and things like that. I'd like to take that under advisement. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, I think that's a great point. I think, let's say somebody's 14, 15, 16, 17. How many times do we see they're accused in a shooting or a gunpoint robbery or a gunpoint carjacking?
Mm-hmm.
I think if it's a felony level crime, no matter the age, that I think that becomes a different category.
Okay. A different category as in you would still want to protect their identity, or you should reveal it?
Well, that's the sticky part of this, because I think that a lot of times we have the names.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a media tradition.
Okay.
That even if we have the information, we don't release it because of their quote unquote tender age.
Okay.
I'm
just getting to the point where I'm tired of protecting these 16-year-olds that are acting like savages.
Yeah, I think to your point, you know, so right now his juvie record will be in play.
Okay.
So we're going to get that.
Okay.
And I can guarantee you with all certainty that this is not his first arrest.
Yeah.
And that this is not the first time he's been caught with a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is my question. Where did he grow up?
Yep.
Was he born in New Jersey? He resides in Camden,
right,
South Jersey,
Sanctuary
State.
Mm-hmm.
Was he born there?
Right.
Did he grow up? Where did he grow up?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see we don't have all of this information.
Right.
And then, so there's that going on. And then how many times has this individual been in custody? For how many years?
Mm-hmm.
Who had him in custody? So I think all of that information, a lot of times DAs don't want us to have that kind of information. It all comes out.
Yeah. All right.
So I also think it's interesting that even some broadcast media not saying his name so much. Why is that?
Right. Yeah, it's just too much coddling, too much protection of the perpetrators. You got a dead cop here.
It's
the hell with their identity.
Yeah, it's bizarre to me. But in this one, the U.S. Marshals, they've been busy lately.
Yep.
U.S. Marshals, FBI, New Jersey State Police, and Philadelphia Police Homicide Division, they all moved in to make that arrest at the Days Inn. They're on Route 38, and this is Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And then Officer Mendez's handcuffs were used during the arrest, which, as you know, this is a tradition when someone is accused of being involved in murdering or killing a police officer. They use that dead officer's handcuffs in a show of respect and justice. I thought one thing, Nick, Kayal, that I'll mention to you in the news conference, I was saddened by the fact that law enforcement officials in Philadelphia had to, in essence, explain the fact that when they caught this guy, they wanted to make sure that the public knew that they weren't all focused on this, that they made other arrests over the weekend, for example, on some other accused perps, because they were having to police explain, well, we just want you to know that even, when an officer is shot and killed in this way, we don't all focus in our police force just to catch that killer. We work on all of them.
Of course.
And almost apologetic.
Yeah. Well, that's where the police department is now. They've been so demoralized and demonized that they have to explain that, basically the show must go on elsewhere as well, even when this all-out assault and war against police officer lives is occurring in our city.
Yeah, well said.
Yep.
And we also have, I will mention, another 18-year-old, Jesus Herman Madera Duran. We've now learned his name. So there were 4 guys involved, according to authorities, in the shooting of these 2 officers. So Jesus Herman Madera Duran, he was also shot during that struggle with the officers and then driven by accomplices to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, where he was pronounced dead. So they're now confirming that Jesus was involved in this and that he was one of the 4. So we have 1 under arrest, 1 who died, 2 armed and dangerous gunmen still at large. And so they're still searching for them. That reward for information, $237,400 and counting. So we have that going on. And I will point out to you that it was an emotional moment as Philadelphia police officer Raul Ortiz, injured in that very shooting at Philadelphia International Airport. Unfortunately, cameras not working, so we can't release publicly the cameras to help find the remaining 2 armed and dangerous suspects. But he was honored during Game 1 of the National League Champions Series between the Phillies and the Arizona Diamondbacks last night. It was an emotional moment as you saw Officer Ortiz. He then stands up, and the crowd goes crazy and is raucous, cheering for him, showing respect, showing gratitude there at Citizens Bank Park. And you could see him on the huge Fanavision screen there as one arm is in the sling, and then the other arm, he flashes his ring finger while on screen, like Nick Castellanos, of course, did during the wild card series against the Miami Marlins.
And how about my boy Castellanos again last night? Another home run.
Yes. But a really emotional moment last night. Yeah, it was a perfect night in Philadelphia. So we are sponsored this morning by Rhino Shield. Still time to protect and beautify your home with Rhino Shield before winter. Call our friend John Gilgy now and take advantage of the biggest sale of the year. Call now. Never paint your home again. 844-RHINO-99, 844-RHINO-99. Thank you, Rhino Shield, for sponsoring our news. NBC 10 First Alert Forecast. So it's a best of 7 series. So 1 down, just 3 more to go, maybe 3 in a row, as we again are playing at home, Citizens Bank Park. Make it loud. Be proud. So we've got game 2, 8:07. By the time the first pitch is thrown, we will be down to 50 degrees. It won't even feel like 50 with a slight breeze. But the high today before that, 64 degrees, a sunny day for your NBC 10 first alert forecast. Much of the same tomorrow, but we have rain later in the week. And yep, for Thursday, we're scheduled just like usual for Saturday, another rainy, dreary Saturday in store.
A tradition unlike any other,
right?
Dawn.
It's crazy. Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. By the way, Phillies need 3 more wins to finish off the Diamondbacks. The Rangers have taken the first 2 against the Astros. So if this would hold, the Phillies would have home field for the World Series as well, which would be a beautiful thing. All right, 855-839-1210. I just want to respond to this comment on the air. I got a tweet as we're talking about the officer that was killed and, protecting the identity of these juveniles. Bob Irving sends us a tweet. He says, I don't understand the juvenile record rules being unavailable. When I was in elementary school and acted out, I was told it would be on my permanent record and may keep me from getting a job. To which I just responded, and Dawn, I want to get your thoughts on this as well. I said juveniles are usually offered an ARD program with expungement upon completion. If they successfully do their community service or pay their fine, once they become an adult at 18, it gets wiped off their record and employers can't see it. It's the media that doesn't reveal identity or history of priors. But you're saying that's just kind of like an unwritten rule in the world of journalism with minors?
Yeah, part of it is the media.
Okay.
Part of it is even when we have the records and have the name, usually the protocol is you wait for them to bring it up in court. So in this case, so he's going to be extradited, and then when he's in court, you're sitting in court, you're covering this, they're going to talk about the juvenile record. And that's all going to be part of the case. That will be in play. Then generally, once it's said in that court case as an adult, that's usually when it's in play. But I agree. I think at some point they have to say, when somebody's committing felony after felony, and I don't care if they're 14 and they're shoving a gun in somebody's face, I think we need to change the policy.
When they're a violent offender with a history of committing these dangerous crimes, they're already on the fast track to being a career criminal. Yeah. And I'd like to believe, and this is like a theory of rehabilitation, and the younger you are, the more opportunities you'll get, the better chance that you have of changing this person for the better. But man, when you've done something at 14 and 16 and 17, and if those crimes would have happened when you're 18 or older, you would be in prison for a long time. I'm not saying lock up and throw the key away on these kids, but at the same time, I'm not betting on them figuring it out in their life because they're already down the wrong track. So that's kind of that. 855-839-1210. All right, we'll come back. We'll stay local. A Jewish student's dorm room set on fire at Drexel University. Was it a hate crime against those of Jewish descent? We'll get to that story. And also, speaking of that tragic killing in Illinois, wait till you hear what the man who killed this 6-year-old said was a motivational factor for him to act out against a Palestinian-American family. The details on the other side of Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Another chance to laugh. Join me at Parks Casino Club 360. It's another chance to come out and join us for a night of laughter for Joe Conklin's Comedy Night with MC Mike Baldini this Thursday, October 19th, 8 p.m., Club 360 Parks Casino. Enjoy great comedy with my man Kevin Downey Jr., Marion Groden. Tickets are just $20 and include your first drink. Doors open at 7 p.m. Go to parkscasino.com/comedy. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See you Thursday.
Hi, Philly. It's Emmett Smith again. If there's one thing I know about you folks, you're fierce competitors, tough as nails, even when it comes to pushing through aches and joint pain. But you don't have to waste that Philly grit dealing with pain anymore, thanks to QC Kinetics.
Like Emmett said, hand over the pain once and for all to QC Kinetics to get relief in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back without surgery or harmful medications. They use your body's own healing properties right at the source of the nonstop pain, making you feel like yourself again.
Come on now. You don't want a Dallas fella whipping up on you just because of that joint pain holding you back. Nah, this is a personal challenge for me, Emmett Smith. Take care of your business. Get relief from that pain once and for all.
Challenge accepted. Go ahead, call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
For all of you who love to cook Italian, here's a mouth-watering message from Cento.
Big lasagna, manicotti, clam sauce with linguine, chicken parmigiana, and tuna capellini, gnocchi alla rosa sauce, pomodoro frittata, pappardelle, percitelli, pasta caponata.
How do you give those dishes authentic old world flavor? Authentic Italian cooking begins with Cento. Cento for taste that sings. Cento. Trust your family with our family.
We know you're excited because Eagles football is back. With the free Odyssey app, you can jump back and listen to the moments that matter, even if you missed it live. Hear Marks and Reese break down the offense, or listen to Nick Sirianni's interview with the 94 WIP Morning Show.
Yeah, I've been in a game where we scored a touchdown, and I'm fist pumping with the fans. I don't think I've done that since I played college football.
Stay close to the Eagles wherever you are this season. Download the free Odyssey app today. AUDACY.
Hey, you know life throws you curveballs. Stress, anxiety, and unhappiness. I'm Dave Raymond, keynote speaker, and yes, the original Philly fanatic. And I want to talk to you. I've been sharing my message around the world. It's a message about how fun and happiness can make the world a better place and can save your life. Contact me now at DaveRaymondSpeaks.com. I'd love to speak for your team at your next company outing, conference, or meeting. See you soon at DaveRaymondSpeaks.com.
Don't miss Good News in Real Estate with Deanne Katsaros and Mark Cumberland, Saturdays at 1 p.m. Find out all you need to know about home buying and selling. Considering a career in real estate? Visit PhiladelphiaRealEstateClasses.com. Good News in Real Estate, Saturdays 1 p.m. on WPHT.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. You've heard me for years talk about the health benefits of Rescue Natural Supplements after making their omega-3s as part of my daily routine. From supporting heart health to promoting pain relief, they provide essential nutrients that impact our bodies in so many ways. Listen to this recent comment from Jeff. He says the benefits of Rescue Omegas are worth it. Helps reduce my inflammation and lower my cholesterol. Been taking it for years. See, people like Jeff have trusted Rescue with their health goals, and now it's your turn. For a limited time, use the code OMEGA50 for an exclusive buy one, get one free offer on any of the 7 Rescue Omega-3 choices. To get this special radio offer, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Use the code online at res-q.com. That's res-q.com. Remember the code OMEGA50, OMEGA50. Buy one, get another Rescue Omega-3 absolutely free.
It's a great time of year. You still have time to find yourself that new certified or pre-owned vehicle from our friends at the Piazza Auto Group. Yeah, I had such a great experience at Piazza Honda right here in Philadelphia, not so far away from my work. But the great news about Piazza is that there's power in the Piazza Auto Group. So they're across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware. And we had such a great experience buying our son his first vehicle, Michael. Oh, he's driving David to school right now in a safe new Honda Civic. Loves that vehicle. Just such a great experience. And for me, I'm in talks right now, believe it or not, entering a new phase in life. Going to trade in the minivan. The trade-in deals are unbelievable. So what will I get? It's so fun. It's so exciting. Just get to PiazzaAutogroup.com and you want to search Piazza's pre-owned inventory or for that dealer nearest you because they have more than 1,200 pre-owned vehicles at any given time. So not just, Nick and I talk about our Hondas. I talk about my son's Honda, but Acura, Mazda, Hyundai, Volkswagen, pretty much anything else that you can imagine. That's the selection that I'm talking about. That's the power of the Piazza Auto Group, Piazza, PiazzaAutogroup.com. Make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal and Company, 721 here on a Tuesday morning. A little chilly out.
Yes.
My sister just sent me a picture. She's wearing her Kayal and Company hooded sweatshirt today.
Aww.
Hoodie season, baby. You can get yours, 1210WPHT.com. You can't miss the merch store. It's right there in the top right corner of the website. Hoodie season, baby. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, cut sheets coming up, 7:45. But, you know, in this country, when things go awry, you start to pay attention to other potential hate crimes. And that is what people are wondering, both locally and nationally. We'll start here locally in Philadelphia. I'm seeing this story from The Blaze, but the headline reads, Jewish student's dorm room door set on fire at Drexel University. The dorm room of a Jewish student at Drexel was reportedly intentionally set on fire last week. And according to investigators right now, it remains unclear who is responsible. Now, I don't know what Drexel is like security-wise with cameras throughout dormitories, but they go on to say while the authorities have not arrested a suspect in the case, they announced that the Philadelphia Fire Department determined that decorations on a residence hall door had been intentionally set on fire. The police received a report of the fire that took place at Race Hall at 11:45 p.m. on October 10th. So that was last Tuesday, which would be about 3 days after the beginning of this conflict with Israel and Hamas. University President John Fry released a statement the day after, which was last Wednesday, about the incident on campus, claiming that the school is actively investigating the situation to determine if there was any bias or discrimination involved, saying, quote, as a campus community, we need to maintain an environment of mutual respect that supports the free expression of ideas through civil discussion and peaceful protest while facilitating deep and authentic exploration of complex issues. There are appropriate venues on and off campus for expressing opinions and engaging in peaceful protest. At the same time, there is a line between expressing strong opinions through robust discussion, debate, and peaceful protest, and the targeting of any individual for discrimination, intimidation, or hate. Unfortunately, we were made aware of a distressing situation that included destruction inside of one of our residence halls. Thankfully, nobody was injured. We are investigating to determine if bias, discrimination, or hate, which we do not tolerate at Drexel, was the motivation behind the incident. The investigation into this incident is ongoing, and we will update the community once it has concluded. As of yesterday, still no update as to who exactly did this. But they are of the belief, the fire department, that this was done intentionally through their investigation of looking at the way this door caught on fire. And this, again, just kind of goes back to the general theme here that we've discussed in the last couple of days, the amount of anti-Semitism that is running amok on these college campuses. And now you have it hit home locally here in Philadelphia, where presumably you had somebody that is anti-Semitic who, and I mean, I guess he was aware that this student was Jewish and apparently sets the dorm room on fire, which obviously could have killed that kid or had the whole thing going up in smoke, could have killed multiple people. And you know what's amazing to me is that these university professors, they come out then and they make these statements about the free expression of ideas, civil discussion, peaceful protest, debate, robust conversation, which there absolutely should be, especially with something as dangerous as anti-Semitism and anti-Semitic remarks or actions, which are far worse than words. But isn't it interesting how college is only a place for civil discourse and discussion and debate when it's under certain contexts and categories. Like we don't allow these types of debates to take place without having the pushback for the Riley Gaines of the world. We don't allow these conversations if you are a Republican or a conservative or a Trump supporter. So again, here's where I would come back and say consistency matters. And if we're going to take colleges for what they are intended to be, or at least originally were supposed to be, a place where you have critical thinking and you challenge people's ideas, then it needs to be universal across the board. And we don't get to pick and choose selectively a la carte which topics of discussion are there for free speech and debate and discourse and shunning others. So while I stand with this professor for supporting the Jewish kid here that had his dorm room set on fire, Like, I mean, let's have some sort of consistency here in what we want colleges and universities to be.
Yeah, and in a dorm setting, if that fire caught on, you're talking about that affects every student, right?
Yep.
If a dorm fire, that could be significant depending on when it's set. But also, University police at Drexel confirm that they had another incident of alleged anti-Semitism, and that was a women's bathroom on campus was defaced and damaged, and it was defaced with anti-Semitic graffiti.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're trying to, look at these. Are these two separate incidents? Is this related? Is it the same person? Obviously they're looking at all their surveillance cameras and talking to students, but yeah, that's concerning. Whether or not you're actually, even if they targeted a student who's Jewish, to your point, it's putting the whole community in danger.
Mm-hmm. It is.
This person is a hateful, crazy person who wants to commit violence. If that's true,
This was arson.
Yeah,
that's a felony. The last time I checked.
Yeah.
You go to jail for a long time if you commit arson, and this is going on. Why? Because somebody in dorm room 17 was Jewish? I'm sorry. That guy's got to be. They got to find this guy. Campus. I don't know if Drexel if their police on campus is trained by the Pennsylvania State Police. I know Temple operates that way. I'm not sure about some of the private schools in the city, but hopefully they find this individual. We'll get to these other stories with education as well when it comes to the Ivy League, and also a Cal Berkeley law professor comes out and says, "Don't hire my law school students that are graduating who are anti-Semitic," which is a very strong stance to take. But then lastly, on the hate front, and we documented this yesterday. Dawn, you had it in the news. This is just an awful story. Wadea Al-Fayumi, the 6-year-old who was stabbed to death Saturday in Plainfield Township, mother badly wounded. Of course, the man who attacked him was the landlord. These were Palestinian American tenants. Joseph Zuba, 71. He is now saying that he became overly concerned and increasingly bothered by the current situation in the Middle East, and he is blaming his actions as a grown man against a helpless 6-year-old on, quote, conservative talk radio.
I was waiting for one of these stories to come out.
You just knew this was coming.
Absolutely.
Right.
And by the way, if you look at the mugshot of this individual, he's clearly a deranged, sick individual.
Yes.
So, sick people, there's sick people everywhere.
Yeah.
And what pushes them over the edge, God only knows what pushes them over the edge. You know what I mean?
Right.
A dog barking pushed the son of Sam over the edge. So you can't sit here and say that, blame everything on this, that. And I hate this blame game.
too.
I absolutely hate it. It is such an easy way out.
It's low-hanging fruit.
They did it during Columbine. They blamed it on music and video games and all that other nonsense.
Right.
And I absolutely hated it then, and I hate it now.
Yeah, blame it on TV, blame it on Hollywood, blame it on conservative talk radio. Free speech lives here. It's like stations like us that we get this ridiculous reputation when people like this, as grown adults, do something so heinous and use a cop-out excuse. Like he was increasingly concerned about what he was hearing on conservative talk radio, and he became agitated about the tenants living in his home, which are a Palestinian-American mother and her young son. And I guess his wife told detectives that he regularly listens to conservative talk radio, and he was very interested in current events. Yeah. He was also worried about the, quote, National Day of Jihad, which was last Friday, October 13th. And even though nothing happened then, he told his wife that he believed something would happen the next day without specifying what. So this guy obviously has screws loose, is short-fused in between the ears. And then these were presumably good tenants, paid their rent, and then all of a sudden, it's not like he just realized they have Palestinian descent the day before.
This guy needs to be put down like the animal that he is.
Yeah.
And end of story. Who cares what his motives are?
Yep.
Like, honestly, we care. It's the root. Let's get to the root cause of this and find out what is. No, crazy people be crazy.
Yeah.
Criminals commit acts of criminality.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yep.
We can't stop it all from happening. And to get to it's because of this. Well, it's because of this. It's
the whole battle over the
nonsense.
Second Amendment as well.
Yes.
As soon as somebody commits an atrocity with a gun, it's like, well, we got to take the guns away.
Yep.
Guns kill people. No, crazy people kill people.
It's ridiculous.
Responsible people don't.
He stabbed this 6-year-old little boy 26 times.
Yeah.
26 times. Oh, my goodness.
He deserves a bullet in the head. The end.
Yeah.
The end. Like there's no... Put him down. The end. Like, enough with this.
Yep.
Let's get to the reason. It's just another thing for the media to glom onto and be like, see, when you speak out, stuff happens.
Right. His wife, who wasn't home at the time of the attack, told detectives that he had withdrawn $1,000 from his bank because he believed the grid would go down. So this guy was...
he's crazy.
He was panicking on all fronts.
He's crazy. The end.
I know. He's taking out $1,000. I just blew $1,000 on Taylor Swift. Maybe I'm the crazy one. I don't know. All right, 855-839-1210. Cut sheets coming up at 7:45. But we have learned one thing with the summer of pushback for conservatives and those that value free speech. How do you hit a company where it hurts, like Bud Light or Target? You hit them in the wallet. Now, the billionaires out there are ready to cut off the funding and aid to Ivy League schools that don't condemn Hamas. Good for them. The details next on Kayal and Company.
The future of joint pain relief is right here in the Philadelphia region. QC Kinetics, advanced regenerative medicine. Hey, Dawn Stensland here. If you've been told that more steroids or surgery are your only options, not so fast. Get a second opinion. Learn more about how you can harness your body's own healing agents to attack that joint pain. QC Kinetics does not mask the pain. These treatments go to the very core of the problem, using concentrated healing properties placed directly into your joint, which repairs and restores that damaged tissue. Imagine living life, especially this fall, with no more pain in your knees, your aching shoulder, your back, your hips. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Just call the local medical professionals, get a free consultation. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. 215-999-3000. Just call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
There are so many discounts and offers at Cherry Hill Volvo. This 30-second spot is not enough time to share all the benefits of purchasing or leasing a new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Discounts and incentives for this month start at $5,000 and can be as high as $11,000. Purchase or lease a new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo now and take advantage of these fabulous discounts and offers. Visit us soon for the best selection of Volvos. The entire Cherry Hill Volvo team is waiting to partner with you.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, you. The one on the couch who just told your friend you can't go out because you're busy? Ready to get real about your psoriasis? When your current treatments don't do enough to help control the inflammation beneath the skin, causing plaques and pain, stressing and scratching, it's time to stop hiding and get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit NJDiet.com.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra with a tribute to Philadelphia sports fans at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th. For tickets, go to JoeConklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
President Biden is expected to visit Israel on Wednesday in a show of support to the state. Philadelphia police have made an arrest in connection with the airport garage shooting that killed one officer and wounded another. And the Phillies hold off the Diamondbacks to take Game 1 of the NLCS.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Here's retirement phase expert Phil Cannella with today's report.
Americans in their 60s have a buffet of options when it comes to deciding how much and when they receive their Social Security benefits. Throughout their working careers, Americans pile retirement investments onto their plate, and at age 62, they finally gain access to that dessert, Social Security. In this week's expert report, we will identify Americans' full retirement age and how retirees can get a bigger slice of the Social Security pie. Now, according to the calculations from the Social Security Administration, the majority of Americans collect Social Security before the age of 66, which is the full retirement age for individuals born in or before 1954. Collecting your benefits before your full retirement age will decrease your Social Security payments and could reduce your benefits by 30% if you collect immediately at age 62. Now that the full retirement age is incrementally raising for individuals born after 1955, eligible recipients must plan whether to file early at their full retirement age or delay filing for benefits until age 70 when you get a much bigger slice of that Social Security pie. By meeting with a licensed retirement phase expert, you can make an educated financial decision to when you should order your Social Security dessert and enjoy the peace of mind in retirement.
To hear more stories that will impact your financial future, join Phil Cannella and Joanne Small this Saturday at 11 a.m. on the Crash Proof Retirement Show, only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Kayal Company, 7:38 Tuesday morning. Hopefully all of you off to a good start on your work day. It's Nick, Dawn, and Greg hanging out as always till 10 o'clock here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Listen to us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Cut sheet coming up in just about 7 minutes. And then also when you make your way over to YouTube, if you want to watch any of the video that comes along with the cut sheet, I suggest you stay there around 8:45 or so when we come out of the cut sheet. A wild video. I thought this was fake, but it is not fake, as a man saves his dog in Australia from a kangaroo who was attempting to drown the dog. And the man and the kangaroo get into a fight, and the kangaroo puts up his fists like in a boxing match. He's like, "Bring it on, human."
God.
Wait till you see this video. This is going to be one of the most amazing things you see all day. And I thought about Buddy. Think about that. That lovable kangaroo, Dawn.
Right?
He wants to drown Buddy in the pool.
That's terrible. That's sick.
It's a sin.
It is a sin.
I agree.
Evil kangaroo.
I know.
And you think they're like in Winnie the Pooh or whatever, and they like little kanga, you know, and you think they're all sweet. Nasty kangaroo.
That's coming up about 8:45 this morning.
On the YouTube chat, Bubba45 checks in, and he wants to let everybody know, and I'm sure you guys both saw this too, that when the cameras panned in the Phillies game last night to the Kelsey brothers in the box, that they were both drinking Bud Lights.
Yes, I saw that. And I could tell right away that it was Travis Kelsey with the Bud Light because you saw the blue can. It looked to me initially that Jason had like a koozie on it.
He did.
Okay. So we have confirmed it was Bud?
Both of them were drinking Bud Light, yes.
Let me give you a very unpopular opinion maybe for this audience.
Can I tell you something? It was free.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, I've
Nick
said,
Kayal you've sounded off on
I've said I would drink Bud Light for free at my fantasy football draft if somebody else bought it. Yes, I'm just not giving them my hard-earned money anymore. But this you can tweet all your hate at Nick Kayal. I'm a big boy. I'll handle it. I'm a little tired of Jason Kelsey too now.
Will you stop?
I have short shelf lives and expiration dates for attention whores.
Hot take.
It's just and I love Jason Kelsey.
Yeah.
It's not like he's dating Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
He's not doing any of the left wing stuff. Although apparently he had a Bud Light. That's fine. I don't need. I'm so sick of the Kelseys. They're becoming the Mannings, the Kardashians.
They are not.
Enough.
It's true.
Jason Kelsey is
the mom
best.
too. Donna, God bless you.
I'm with Nick on this, Dawn. I'm with Nick on this,
I
Dawn.
can't take any more of it.
Enough.
I won't watch Monday Night Football when they put the Manning cast on.
Listen.
Oh, stop.
Just to put everything out there on full display, we are the show that said a few weeks ago that Jason Kelsey is the most beloved Philadelphia athlete. I believe in the history of Philadelphia sports. That can be debated.
Yes.
But
and it was.
We said that on this show.
Yeah.
But I agree. It's enough.
I know.
Like
I think you guys.
Travis Kelce's everywhere now.
Is this jealous? I think you have a little jealousy,
I understand the point of making headlines and trying to grow your
jealous.
brand. Look, they have a podcast because everybody has a podcast, and they're going to be very successful when they're done playing, and they'll be offered a bunch of money by a bunch of brand managers that get wet dreams thinking of them.
You sound catty,
but
you sound catty.
Jason Kelce, if
you guys are jealous,
Jason Kelce could be the morning host on WIP when he retires. I mean, if they had an opening and he would throw him right in there with the camera and Richie, and it would be a great show.
Yeah.
But
can I tell you something? I just want to point out the men are the divas. Okay,
Yep.
They always say women, especially in media and television, are the divas. Look at these two. They're jealous.
He's going to have a podcast and he can
No,
do whatever
we're
he
not.
wants. He's going to make a lot of money.
I'm not
he got a
jealous.
hot wife.
I have a platform. I have a great piece of real estate. I've carved out my little niche. I get a nice paycheck. It's all gone before I get it, but in theory, I do get a nice. I am not jealous, but my God, enough of the Kelces. They're everywhere. And I love Jason. And yes, I know Jason will bulldoze me in the hallway if he sees me. I get that.
Of course. Both of them would floss with us. Holy crap! I am fine with that, but I am standing with you, my friend.
What would they floss?
I agree. Enough. Like they're literally on everything.
Yes. So moving forward, it is Sailor Twift and Kaysen Jelsey.
And maybe this is the
Kelce's have jumped the shark.
Neither of you have a brother, and these are two brothers.
True.
You know, it's funny
and you
bring
guys
that
are
up.
a little jealous.
I
about
wish
that.
many years I thought about what it would be like to have a brother.
No, I never wanted a brother.
Oh, I did.
I loved being the
My
only child.
boys are best friends.
No, they're not.
They are best friends.
I loved being.
By the way,
the only child.
Is it only child or lonely child?
Only child.
Only child.
What?
Okay. I've heard lonely child mentioned a few times.
This whole thing, yeah.
Run.
Yeah, you get things wrong all the time.
That's part of my appeal.
Grammar-wise, exactly. By the way, I heard, speaking of the run thing, there's a prominent sports host on a talk station in New York City who also used to be a football player, so I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Twice yesterday, because I wanted to hear what the other side was saying about the Jets Eagles game. Twice yesterday used the run.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely something with sports.
It's a side effect of the shots to the head. I'm telling you, when I die, examine my brain. I bet you I'm going to have CTE on a serious front.
Like my youngest son, they went to the same. Both boys, they went to the same school, right? The youngest one has always played in every sport, right? And it's football, like you.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing. I'm like, what? And me and him. I said, no sentence starts with me.
It's him and I.
Stop.
Yes.
Like Larry and I will be working until we're like 100 to pay off all the education.
Mm-hmm.
Please do not start a sentence with me.
Yeah.
Jimmy on the YouTube chat writes, the latest shtick from the show, I guess this one, is to pretend they hate talking about what we hate hearing about while they talk about it twice as much.
Anyway. I have no idea what that means, but okay.
Jimmy's a really angry guy. Like, I don't know why you listen if all you do is
Which
critique
Jimmy?
the show. I don't know. It's some guy on the YouTube chat.
It's not Jimmy Matthews.
No.
Oh,
all he
okay.
does is critique the show. But it's fine.
That's
Just
cool.
keep
Okay.
listening. It's
fine
great.
with me.
It's great.
Take a breath, Jimmy. Feel the love.
I was also corrected on Twitter yesterday when I said about how the left has more disdain for Trump than Hamas. I said let that marinate for a bit. Apparently, it's not marinade;
No,
it's
marinate.
marinate.
Yeah, marinate.
Somebody corrected me on that. He's been now officially muted.
Why are you muting somebody who's
Who
correct?
just said marinate?
I didn't block him. I just muted him. I just don't ever want to see him
Oh.
again. He can still tweet me. I just won't see his garbage.
This is why you need to stop tweeting, because every little thing that you point out and do is going to be under a microscope, and it's not right.
It is. That's what the job I signed up for. All right, 7:45. It is right on time for a Tuesday installment of What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Tuesday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where they have ample inventory of brand new and beautiful pre-owned Volvos, Enjoy the luxury experience you deserve. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. Check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. I want to start on the cut sheet, Nick, Kayal, John Stensland, where you started your big take this morning at, I don't know, what time did we get to it? Like 6:20 this morning?
7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. It used to be 6:10.
Yeah.
Then it was 6:15.
Yeah.
Now it's 6:20.
We just have too much to say in a 4-hour show, folks.
I know.
That's a good problem to have sometimes.
Yeah. We never get to half of what we really want to.
I know.
I'm sorry, my computer is messing up again.
Been a lot of technical issues around here lately.
Yeah, and I don't know how to solve them.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's reassuring.
It's kind of frustrating. Okay, so Trump was in Clive, Iowa yesterday, and he did speak about his gag order.
Oh yeah.
He says, "I'm the first to run for president under a gag order. I've been indicted more than Scarface." He said this in Iowa yesterday. Daniel, this is cut. Where are we? Cut 13 here.
Today, a judge put on a gag order. I'll be the only politician in history that runs with a gag order where I'm not allowed to criticize people. Can you imagine this? Do you believe this? I'm not allowed to criticize people. So we'll see. We'll appeal it, and we'll see. But it's so unconstitutional. The good thing is we have so much support. It's incredible. And it just makes it even more so. Look, I'm the only guy that ever got indicted. I got indicted more than Alphonse Capone. Did anyone ever hear of Al Capone? If you looked at him the wrong way, he was seriously tough, right? Scarface. You know, they call him Scarface. Had a little scar in there. I'm sure it was a minor accident, but he was Scarface. But Al Capone, if you looked at him in the wrong way, if he didn't like you, you looked at him a little bit askance, he blew your brains out. He was only indicted one time. I've been indicted 4 times. And in addition, I have these civil trials that are all coming out of the Justice Department. They've weaponized the Justice Department and the FBI. They've weaponized, think of it, the Justice Department. This is like a banana republic. But we're going to be okay. The good news is I'm the only one that's ever been indicted where the numbers went through the roof. Because the people understand it. No, it's true. He challenged the election. The election was crooked. They're saying you'd never challenge an election. You're supposed to believe these people, right? How about the 51 intelligence agents that lied? Turned out they lied. How about the FBI Twitter files? All that stuff. All of the votes, if you look at 2,000 Mules, if you look at that, those are tapes of people stuffing ballot boxes. Those aren't people saying, those are tapes. People don't want to hear it. But no, they put a gag order on me. And I'm not supposed to be talking about things that bad people do. And so we'll be appealing very quickly. But, you know, people understand it. And normally if you get indicted, if you're a politician, I've watched it for years, they get indicted and they walk to a microphone about 4 minutes later. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be leaving office to fight for my reputation and spend time with my family. I love my family so much. You know, that they're out, they're gone. With me, I have a big platform so I can explain things.
Wow. He was on one right there. He just went through about 13 different things. I'll give 2 thoughts. One, he's absolutely correct about Al Capone. If you've ever watched Boardwalk Empire, the series on HBO, the guy that plays Capone, you looked at him the wrong way, he smashed a bar stool over your back. But secondly, this is what I mentioned in the big take this morning, the unprecedented nature of these indictments and gag orders against a potential president of the United States. This, to me, from a First Amendment standpoint and freedom of expression and free speech standpoint, this screams Supreme Court case of the United States. Like, this is, there's going to be a precedent established one way or the other, and I think it will be taken probably all the way up to the highest court of the land long after the 24 election has come and gone.
He also spoke on what's happening in the Middle East. He said we had peace in the Middle East until this character came along, meaning Joe Biden. And this is cut 6.
Mike choked off the money to corrupt Palestinian organizations and stood with Israel like no president in history, recognizing the eternal capital, opening up the American embassy in Jerusalem, and recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. That was a big deal. And with the historic Abraham Accords. We had peace in the Middle East. Can you believe that? We had peace until this character came along. He didn't know what he was doing. His name was Crooked Joe Biden. And under Biden, it's danger, death, and destruction all over the world. That's what it's been. It's been a disaster. Whether it's the borders, whether it's the Middle East, whether it's Ukraine, everything is broken. The whole world is broken.
It is pretty amazing that when you look at it, and whether it's globally or domestically, think about how secure things were, how peaceful things were. You did not have China flying spy balloons over our country. You did not have Putin going into Ukraine. And you did not have terrorist attacks from the Middle East on Israel. I tell you what, he just labeled a great campaign message right there under Joe Biden. The 3 Ds: danger, death, and destruction.
Mm-hmm.
That should be bottled right there. That should be a soundbite. That should be a poster. That should be a billboard. Because that's an accurate assessment of things under Joe's watch for 3 years.
Are you advising him?
If he wants to cut me a check. Apparently everybody's a consultant these days and has it figured out. I can offer my 2 cents.
By the way, streaming live, I should say, on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Please hit the subscribe button. I want to get to 5,000 likes by, what did we say, Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving. I would like to get to 5,000 likes by Thanksgiving. So if you're watching now, can you be the 5,000th like, please, or subscriber, excuse me. And can you be the 100th like, too? Please like we're at 88 likes right now. I want to take that up to 100.
We'll take 5,000 likes, too.
/@12. Well, of course.
Yeah. If anybody wants to go on a liking binge, go right ahead. Keep hitting that button till your finger breaks.
Today, I guess we resume. Will Jim Jordan get the 217 votes for Speaker?
Mm-hmm.
He was asked about this yesterday by Manu Raju from CNN. And this was yesterday, so he says, we're going to elect a Speaker tomorrow. That's what's going to happen. This was Jim Jordan yesterday, cut 3.
Ann Wagner and Mike Rogers publicly saying they would support us, 2 great members who do all kinds of great work. So that was really, really big. So I feel real good about the momentum we have, and I think we're real close. So the vote's going to be tomorrow.
Will you go to the floor even if you don't have 217 votes
locked down? That's how our great system works, and we will go to the floor tomorrow. It's not about pressuring anybody. It's just about we got to have a speaker. You can't open the House and do the work of the American people and help our dearest and closest friend Israel if you don't have a speaker. So we get the speaker, we get the House open, and we get to work on the resolution and supplemental for Israel. And we get back to work for the American people. And that's what I'm committed to doing, and I think it's going to happen tomorrow.
Because you had said before you want to have 217 first.
Well, I do think that's ideal, but as one of my colleagues said in the room, I don't know if there's any way to ever get that in the room. I would love that, but I think the only way to do this is the way the founders intended, is you have the vote tomorrow. We've set it for 12 o'clock, and I feel real good about it.
Will you have more than one ballot if you don't get to 217 on the first?
We're going to elect the speaker tomorrow. That's what I think is going to happen. We got to come together. We have to unify. We have to come together.
I feel like these are a bunch of sideline reporters trying to follow the coach into the locker room at halftime, because Jim's got that background as a wrestling coach at Ohio State. I thought he kind of gave you kind of the cliche coach speech there of, I'm hoping to get there. If we don't, we'll proceed the way it was set up, the way it's been intended from the beginning of history. And I do think he's going to have a bit of a challenge, and I'm not sure that he gets there. And it's going to be, for those that are pro Jim Jordan, it'll be very frustrating if he doesn't get there for a variety of reasons, least of which is, a bunch of moderates and rhinos that want somebody else that's not backed by Donald Trump. Because those moderates in the Republican Party in the House, they have to answer to their constituents that elected them. So it should be a heck of a charade today, and it'll probably be the big take tomorrow.
Muggsy Dew on Twitter says, Dawn, you are correct. Greg Stocker plays down the Kelceys while secretly salivating at the opportunity to get them on the station. True corporate shill trying to get them cheap.
Are you working the back channels with the sports station to book a Kelce hit?
I'm not.
You and Rod, and Rod having conversations?
No, I'm not. I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't sneeze at an opportunity to
Right.
to have Jason Kelsey on. Like I
Yeah.
just
If you had Jason first of all, you two would like wet your pants a
we
little
would.
bit.
I would
You
not.
too.
I don't get
Yeah.
flummoxed over anybody.
Yeah, I'm not starstruck by anybody.
Honestly.
I've never been that way. A lot of times I get this question of when I was doing sports, hey, who's the coolest athlete or coach you ever interviewed? I'm like, honestly, they all sucked. Like most of the time,
Yes.
they're terrible interviews.
They are.
And this is like, I didn't get into it to like rub elbows and say, hey, look at this. I've got Jason Kelsey's cell phone number.
So I wanted to play this. I saw this yesterday. Actually, you saw this, Nick. Robin DiAngelo, she's a writer. She was on some podcast, and she suggests that the movie Frozen is promoting racism to kids.
And if you're a parent, you have seen that Frozen movie and heard that song way too many times that you would like.
So, yeah, she talks about how kids aren't born racist, but by the age of 3, I believe she says here, they start realizing that white is the superior race or something like that. Something along those lines.
My daughters Olivia and Mia said that to me in 2017 when they were 3. They said, Daddy, we are the superior race, right? I said, where'd you get that from? She said Frozen.
Yeah. Do you want to build a racist snowman?
Let it go. Let it go.
Cut number 1 here, Daniel.
Challenge is this idea that children are innocent. I mean, certainly born innocent, but research shows that by age 3, as early as age 3, they understand that it's better to be white. So let me be clear. Not that white people are better, but that it's just better to be white.
Right.
And let me give you an example of Frozen, the movie Frozen.
Yeah.
It's huge, this movie, right? I've seen little girls all over the world with the backpacks. I mean, you can't watch that movie and not know that the ideal is white, blue eyes, blonde hair, red hair. That's just one example. And you can have maybe a frog that turns into a princess for a minute and goes back to a frog and she's a brown girl. But that's the exception, not the rule. So don't be naive about what they're internalizing and how early. And also don't be naive that you can just lecture them and you shouldn't, and then that's fine. What is your life like? The idea of on the airplane, put your oxygen mask on and then turn towards the more vulnerable. So do you have an integrated life? You're telling your children everybody's equal, but you have never had a person of color at your dinner table. The practice of our lives is so much more powerful than the words we say.
So this lady right here, and if you're watching on YouTube, she's white. She's the one who's got like the vaccine status in her profile, the Ukraine flag, the BLM poster in her yard. She's completely insane.
She authored the book White Fragility, by the way.
White Fragility,
in 2018.
New York Times bestseller, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It's this type of nonsense. Like at 3 years old, like your little boy is probably sticking a Lego in his mouth, right? Yeah, he can't get the food in his nose. But yet he's arrived at the conclusion that while white people aren't necessarily better, it's the inherent belief that there's a built-in advantage to being white. Are you kidding me? And go ahead, Dawn.
No, you were on a rant.
I
love it.
I was just going to say another thing, too. If we got to rank maybe one day the most annoying things about raising children, because I would put Frozen and that song and that movie almost at the top along with Baby Shark.
No.
Yeah. Which, by the way, apparently, and I have the story here somewhere. It was handed to me earlier this morning. There is some of the Hamas terrorists that have been captured have apparently been tortured by having to listen to a similar version of Baby Shark.
Are you kidding?
I swear to God, it's in the New York Post.
Wow.
Which that is torture.
It is.
They should. I would like. You know what? That should be a mandated thing moving forward for all captured terrorists. Force them to watch The View, listen to Baby Shark, and then listen to Sports Talk Radio the day after a loss.
I've been saying for most of my career here that I absolutely hate war and I don't want war. I change it. We need to go to war. Because it would take it would take this kind of nonsense out of the forefront.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it would take these debates that we're having about what is racism, is Frozen racist or not, out of the lexicon of human beings because we would be concerned for our safety.
Yeah.
These people.
You know, the greatest point I can make about this is that it's not the color of your skin or your ethnicity. It's your zip code. So I was looking up the wealthiest zip codes in Pennsylvania, for example. If your zip code is 19035, and that's Gladwin, Pennsylvania.
Oh God.
Okay, which is is the wealthiest zip code. That's what they're saying. That I DuckDuckGo'd it. So if that's 10935, whether you're black or brown or a shade of white, whatever your religion, whatever, if that's where you reside and that's where you're born, you have a greater chance of being successful. And so the answer is, okay, well, let's put housing in 10935. Let's put housing in Montgomery County, which, by the way, in Montgo, which has turned blue, they are vehemently opposing like public housing right now in Montgomery County. They're having a fit.
It's just like sanctuary cities until they realize, it's on my doorstep now.
But that truly is the way to take. If you started moving people, let's say a group of people in a poorer zip code like Philadelphia, and you gave them vouchers and you move them in Gladwin, right? And you mix up that pool and you give job opportunities and the top education opportunities, you will see change.
Yep.
Nobody wants to do that for multiple reasons. And in part, they don't want to do it because, for example, in Philadelphia, they have blocks of voters who, for whatever reason, just keep on voting D despite the disaster, as you said, the disaster we see.
Yep.
But it has nothing to do with your skin color. If you're born black or brown or whatever in 10935, I promise you, you're doing great in life. You're going to be just fine. It's your zip code.
I like that. That's a good thesis by you.
If you're watching right now on YouTube, while Dawn was on her rant, Nick was sifting through the garbage.
Yes, I'm trying.
Are you looking for a snack, honey?
I'm trying
gonna
to find
go to the fridge.
I'm trying
and
to
get
find
you
that
something.
Baby Shark Hamas song. I know I had it.
Did you throw it out?
I think I might have.
Oh no!
I'm having like Biden moments in here. I just don't know where I'm at. Exit left, exit right.
Well, anyway.
I'll find it for you.
I could see. I'm like, what is he looking for?
Yeah.
Is he looking for a paper with zip codes on it?
Here's another one. This is a grown adult, I believe, born female, but I could be wrong.
Oh, jeez.
Having a complete breakdown because they were misgendered. Literally crying in the car on TikTok or wherever this was filmed.
You know, I regret 2 days ago saying I miss all the TikTok audio we used to play. I was a little Hamased out. I wanted TikTok meltdowns. I walked that back, sir.
I figured the audience was too. That's why I started the first half of the cut sheet with stuff that's not that.
Yeah.
And now you're instantly regretting it. This is cut 7, Daniel.
Tried calling friends. Nobody's picking up, so I just am going to dump this here. It's the middle of the day. I completely understand, but I just had a really harrowing experience.
Harrowing.
I have this one coworker who simply refuses to use the correct pronouns for me. I've called her out every time she misgenders me, and she just is resigned to not change. And today just broke something in me. I just snapped. I ended up yelling at her after the 3rd time she misgendered me, and within like 30 minutes, like, I use they, them pronouns. And she got so defensive.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
What I don't know this person, but what job are they working at? Because, boy, if I was their boss, I'd be like, boy, you guys have a lot of free time on your hands.
Yeah. You know, I've never been, now granted, with our shift, there's not a lot of human beings in the building when we're here, but I've never been in any work environment in the last, I don't know, let's call it 7 or 8 years where this pronoun thing has become a thing, where I've ever encountered anybody using pronouns out of their way and really reinforcing it. Like, do these meltdowns really happen in the workplace, or are these just like psychotic, delusional episodes on TikTok?
Well, I mean, honestly, if I'm an employer and I'm looking at this, I'm like, what? Really, this is what triggers you?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not giving you enough work.
Yes. Like if you have time to post this, then you better be at like 110% of your quota or wherever you do for a job.
Or they're all kibitzing around and talking about how you misgendered somebody.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
We continue.
And I just started explaining to her, like, I'm sick and tired of this. Like, you need to at least make an attempt. And she popped off, got upset, got defensive. What are you going to do about it? And I just said, I'm going to be really hurt and sad. Like, that's all I can do about it. And the worst part is that at that point, my boss, who claimed...
All right, we need war.
Uh-oh, the boss.
We need war.
I agree.
We need war.
Get Lindsey Graham on the phone.
Yeah.
Where's Lindsey?
Yeah. Lindsey, I'm with you. Let's start bombing Iran. Let's go. The draft starts tomorrow.
Who's got the first pick? Here's the thing, too, with the use of the pronoun in any work setting where, well, I don't know, you're in the office kitchen. What is the exchange of the conversation like where the pronoun is used improperly? Because I'm assuming that's a girl right there, correct?
Yes.
Okay, biological female.
Yeah.
So let's just
Them.
let's just say her name is Jessica.
Okay.
If you just refer to her as, oh, hey, Jessica, or oh, that looks like a nice little lunch you have there, Jessica, you avoid the potential conflict of the pronoun debate just by using their legal name. I would think is an easy solution to avoid any triggering of said deranged individual, right?
Agreed.
So, I mean, I'm trying to think of how the conversation goes where the employee uses the wrong pronoun and then we'll call her Jessica. She goes off the deep end. I'm just trying to picture this play out in real time. I don't think these things happen. I think these are all.
That's what I wonder.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Look, I get it. There some of it, yes. Some of this hatred exists, but this nonstop, I feel like TikTok, like 25% of their content is this, which is why I'll never be on it.
Sylvia on the YouTube chat writes, Greg, I hate to agree with you, but yes, you are right. Why do you hate to agree with me?
About what? War?
I don't know. People just love to take shots at me.
They do.
You are an easy target.
Yeah.
I have the Baby Shark story, by the way, from the New York Post. Opelka also texted it to me, so he must be listening. So there's a video that purports to show tied Hamas terrorists tortured with a Baby Shark-like children's song. A viral video seemingly shows captured Hamas terrorists being subjected to a novel form of torture, a Baby Shark-style children's song being played on a loop for 8 consecutive hours.
Wow.
The purported prisoners are seen blindfolded and bound as they sit on the ground amid the blaring strains of Memtara Ammentara, which translates to sprinkler with a target, the Israeli news media website Walla reported. I've never heard of that song. I don't know, maybe we could play it a little bit later. Mamtara im Matara. I guess, I don't know, is that like a Middle Eastern version of the Baby Shark style song? Which, by the way, is probably the most annoying song a parent has ever heard.
How do you spell it?
Mamtara Mimtara. M-A-M. Hold on, just put it back in the trash can. M-A-M-T-E-R-A. And then space, I-M, space, M-A-T-A-R-A. Matara? Mamtara, I'm Matara?
I have no idea.
Which translates to sprinkler with a target.
Okay.
I don't know if that's on YouTube. We might have to make that the official theme song of Kayal and Company as we take out Hamas.
We continue.
Aims to be so woke.
Oh, by the way, she's talking about her boss, who claims to be so woke, but I guess is not as woke as they them would like.
Okay.
Them to be. Something. We continue.
And like happy and joyous and making a safe, positive environment for everybody. Gangs up on me with her. And says, like, this is, Carson, like, shut up. This is not the time for a political statement. And I was upset, rightfully so, but was trying to take such a level-headed approach to it of, like, this is not a political statement. My identity is not a political statement. It's just my identity. All I'm asking you to do is respect that. And it really is within our own community that people have the most rampant transphobia. The coworker that refuses to use the correct pronouns for me claims to be bisexual, and she stands up and goes, when I came out as bisexual, everybody was mad at me. It's like, then why are you mad at the trans kid?
Oh
like,
God.
what?
Wow.
You want to inflict that same pain
This is what
onto...
you talked about, Dawn.
So self-important.
You see how she mentions there the bisexual
Yeah.
there? It's not lesbian, gay, or bisexual.
Yeah.
It's the trans portion of all those letters that are completely out of touch.
Yeah, and there's a resentment, and that's what. Can you imagine the drama at this workplace?
Oh my God!
I can't even take it. It's like
the boss should be fired for allowing this sort of stuff to happen.
I don't care about your sex life, your pronouns.
exactly.
Just get to work and shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
The obsession with identity is amazing. Like, identity has now taken on this form of life of what you were born as, what you aspire to be, and what you feel you are at any given moment. Like, I always thought my identity was I used to play sports and then I talked in front of a microphone. Like, that was my identity. My identity was I was with the same woman for 20 plus years. Their identity is like this just warped obsession with what they are. And it's like, I feel like 99 out of 100 people don't care what you are. But, like, they're making it sound like nobody can understand it, and they have to keep reiterating it.
There's a lot of consensus on the YouTube chat that this person is attractive.
I recognize her face. I think we've played her work before.
Have we?
I think so. She looks familiar. I mean, we'd have to go through the long litany of past TikTok clips we've played in 1 year, but I swear she looks familiar.
Ken John writes, she's cute, dressed like a girl. I guess. Yeah. I mean, she's obviously dressed like a man.
Yeah.
But
you know what's very unattractive is where she had that like little outburst right there. I don't know if we can go back and isolate her.
That high pitch.
Yeah.
Well, she's she's obviously bat-esque crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, anybody who goes the way that them go.
Mm-hmm. Like she just randomly elevated her voice like Joe Biden does.
Yeah.
Like when Joe starts yelling out of the blue.
All right, let me play a little bit more of this. I'm going to continue where I left off, Daniel.
Me? Why? It's so frustrating because then my boss spins it around as like I'm the one who's making a scene and is being like over emotional or oversensitive. And it's like I am asking is for you to make an attempt to try and respect my gender identity. And they're both just going at me like this is not the time. We're trying our best. You should be compassionate and understanding. You should just accept it with love and move on. Like,
well, Mike Carr writes, it's a dude. Is this a guy who is
I think that's a female.
I do too.
Yeah, but I don't know.
The Adam's apple is the tell.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Good God.
I don't know. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT.
Can we isolate her in box 4?
No.
No.
No. A little bit more, please.
It's so frustrating. I literally was shaking so hard. I just got up and left. I came to the beach. I didn't know what else to do. I was so mad. But this is just so hard. It's so hard to be out and be vocal about it. It's so hard to stand up for yourself because either you are a doormat or you're the bitch that like is over emotional and calls everybody out.
You would be the latter.
Yeah, you're clearly over emotional, sweetheart.
You are B, that's for sure.
Oh my Lord!
Oh, it's beyond B.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just this is a train wreck. This is somebody who's suffering a mental health crisis and is feeling like it's okay to talk about me, instead of doing your job and being professional.
I'm glad you say that, too, about me. This is such a self-absorbed, self-righteous group of people. I mean, they literally obsess over what their identity is based on their beliefs, and then they also obsess over how you perceive them. Like, I feel like they literally go through the workday at the office just worried about what people think. Like, you ever notice you've been around somebody in the line of work, and they're very self-conscious, they're very self-aware? Like, this is that group right here, which reinforces my belief that it's a mental health breakdown because I'm not even sure they truly believe what they say. It's just that they have this feeling inside them that something's wrong. Like when you're aware that you're having either a mental breakdown or you have a physical ailment. I tell you what, I think you can make a lot of money as a psychologist or a psychiatrist in this day and age treating these people.
I will say, if this is all true and they have a coworker who purposely won't say they them, I would say to that person, just say they. Like I have debated this with different people, but if somebody were here in my workspace and they wanted to be called they them, I'm going to call them they them.
Yeah.
Because first of all, it's just like, why do I put deodorant on? You know what I mean? It's the same thing. I'm just going to be respectful. And also, I don't want to deal with that.
Right.
I don't want to trigger anybody.
I guess cause as I said before, I was trying to figure out how these conversations go. It would be like, let's just say, and I know Daniel Valdez does not use pronouns, but instead of me saying Daniel was down at the printer grabbing a story as I'm talking to Greg, I would have to then say, like, if Daniel, instead of saying he was down at the printer, I now have to say, imagine how weird this is in a conversation. Greg goes, hey, where's Valdez at? They/them went down to get me the New York Post story. Like, and you just take a step back and you're like, wow, I just said that. Like, think about how awkward that sounds. And they want this to be like common practice in the workplace.
The confusing thing is I was just helping till 11 something last night, my son write a paper for English, and they use the guide, a book that isn't for academic writing. It's called They Say, I Say. So to me, I was thinking about it. I didn't even bring it up because we were like, jamming on a paper. But the point is, it's a guidebook for how to write English.
Oh.
I just wonder in English and grammar classes, if you have a student like this, which we know they exist,
of course,
then how do you, you're talking about They Say, I Say, you're talking about a grammar book that's really how to do papers for high school and college.
I scream, you scream. We all scream twice.
But can you only imagine the confusion? And what if English is your second language?
Oh, God.
And you're in college in this country? You're like, what?
You'd be like, I'm going back to my homeland. These Americans are crazy.
Yeah. Look, with this, Odyssey is one of the most inclusive places I have ever worked, and it's just it's unbelievably, nobody cares here about skin color, gender, anything, sexual preference. But we all hire everybody here to do a job.
Yeah.
And if your job, whether you're upset that Johnny drank the last of the coffee and you have a mental breakdown because of that, or that he misgendered you, it's the same thing of like, okay, get your S together and do your job.
Yeah.
That's what this whole thing is about. It's not about what they, reference themselves at. I could care less.
Right.
All I care about is that you do your job well. And obviously, there's no work going on here because they're worried about who's, what gender somebody is.
And, I would also think, too, that you see all these stories and you're like, man, I would hate to be an HR person in this day and age. No, you wouldn't, because HR basically has to adhere to everything that the, quote, community under attack says. So what really becomes the big problem is you did nothing wrong, but our little buddy here on TikTok is crying and elevating her voice at random parts of her speech, and you're automatically presumed to have done something wrong.
And by the way, whatever company that is, now that this has gone viral, I can almost guarantee you that boss is going to get fired. There's going to be lawsuits. Yep. There's going to be there's giant repercussions from this. This is not just what appears to me as a mentally ill person having a breakdown in a car.
Yeah.
There's going to be legal repercussions in this for that company.
I also think, too, and I would love to see the numbers on these types of meltdowns or just this community in general. We know that about 9% of America identifies as either lesbian, gay, bisexual, or anything else under the LGBTQ plus umbrella. But, are these meltdowns happening in other nations around the globe?
No,
of course not.
And I know this doesn't exist in the Middle East because they will cut your head off. So for all the queer people that stand with Palestine, just know they will cut your head off.
Yes.
But is this going on in Sweden or Norway or Finland or Italy or any civilized other nation?
Yeah, the more Western democracies, yes, this is going, because we all have it too good here. And I'm going to sound like an old man when I say that, but we do. But the fact that we can bitch and complain about this shows that stuff is okay. We're doing just fine here.
It can't be to the same level though that we're seeing in the United States. I can't imagine this is.
I don't know. The UK, I think this happens a lot.
Yeah,
in the UK.
Sweden and Norway.
Yeah.
They're it's Scandinavian countries, but they're not. Nobody's triggered because they're like, okay, say what you are.
Right.
But they're still productive.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And by the way, this doesn't trigger me. It doesn't trigger any of us. I don't care what this person does or identifies as. But obviously, it's sad to play because it's. This person could be working at this place and doing a good job, and instead they're worried about what gender they're being.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about this in the workplace because I'm out of here at 10:02 each day. And most human beings are still not here except for on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I worry about having to encounter this situation if I go to a restaurant with a waitress or I go through a fast food or going through the Starbucks drive-thru for coffee. Like, all of a sudden, I've got somebody with purple hair and a nose ring who's mad that I didn't tip him. You gave me the wrong coffee, and next thing you know, we have a conversation, and I don't use your pronouns. Next thing I know, the coffee's on my lap.
Well, speaking of college campuses, let's go there. Let's go to Cornell University. This is a professor, Russell Rickford, who was speaking about the Hamas terrorist attacks, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he said this at a rally. This is cut 8.
It was exhilarating.
Exhilarating.
It was exhilarating. It was energetic. And if they weren't exhilarated by this challenge to the monopoly of violence, by this shifting of the balance of power, then they wouldn't have to use it. I was exhilarated.
I was exhilarated. It was exhilarating talking about the terrorist attacks by Hamas. This is a
God.
Cornell University professor, Russell Rickford.
Still
has a job, by the way.
Right. I think of certain sporting events with dramatic endings as exhilarating. I think of certain roller coaster rides that are exhilarating. I don't find it exhilarating when innocent human beings are slaughtered by radical nut jobs. I mean, again, Cornell, Ivy League, all of these institutions, Penn, Harvard, Dartmouth, Yale, Cornell, and think about how sick they are with the price tag that comes with it.
Yep.
It's just, I mean.
This is a video. We can describe it for the people who can't get over to YouTube, but if you want to go over right now, youtube.com/@1210WPHT if you want to see this video. These are students at New York University, NYU, ripping down posters of the missing women and children that Hamas terrorist attack took hostage. So they have posters of them around the college, and these people are ripping them down. This is cut at 9, Daniel. So you can see them taking them and just ripping them off the wall there. And two larger women and a man in a black hoodie. And, and there's another video that shows them putting them in the trash.
Presumably, like a student union center where you can post like flyers for things like book for sale or whatever. They've got those pictures up. So the same people yanking down hostage posters of either Americans or Jewish people are the same people that probably got triggered over anybody walking in their yard and taking down their BLM poster or Ukraine flag. Interesting.
I just, you brought this up. We brought this up a lot this week. This is happening a lot on college campuses, and it's out in the open. And the anti-Semitism is this isn't white dudes with tiki torches saying, Jews will not replace us, but this is these are Ivy League schools where there is just this anti-Semitism that's just out in the open, and they're protesting it.
Right. I've long believed in the First Amendment. I love free speech, but I've also said on this show, in my opinion, that does not give you the right to use hate speech or violence. I can walk into a movie theater and yell fire. Okay, yeah, well, and then you're going to get arrested for doing so. So I don't understand how this can be permitted by any of these leaders of these universities, these deans, these presidents. Probably going to do a big take tomorrow on these universities and kind of the de-evolution of these big institutions. And one of the clips I'm going to play is this girl in the state of Washington, Jewish female, who is literally crying and pleading to one of the institutional leaders on campus out like in the courtyard about how like these pro-Palestinian students are chanting like death to Israel and kill the Jews. Yeah. And she's crying and she's like, you have to like they want me dead. How are you supporting that? Like, how is that permissible on campus?
I said this earlier. Do you want these universities to change? Then cut off the funding.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like donors need to, and some of them are doing it already. it's sad that it took this for that to happen.
Right.
It should have happened long ago, in my opinion. But hey, that's the only way these universities are going to get the message if their funding dries up.
That's correct. And speaking of that funding, this story, billionaires who have pumped $500 million into Ivy League schools back out over the failure to condemn the Hamas terror attack on Israel. Harvard and the University of Penn face losing hundreds of millions in future endowments. You have billionaire Ken Griffin, who has requested that Harvard take a robust stance in defense of Israel. He is no longer going to be giving any money. He actually just pledged $300 million last year alone to Harvard. Imagine giving up $300 million in a year, how sick you have to be money-wise to give that up. And then you have John Huntsman Jr., former U.S. ambassador. He has stripped UPenn of his support. And when you add it all up, it comes to just under $500 million.
Wow. That's good. That is going to be effective.
Yeah.
That's going to cause the leadership at UPenn and all these to be like, wait a minute, guys. What do we have a mutiny on our hands here. We need to nip this in the bud. And again, I know, did you talk about the story about the law professor?
The law professor, I have that here.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
I do.
Then I'll wait to give my opinion on that. You also mentioned earlier, Nick, that you believe war is imminent. Will it be with the United States? We don't know or not. Israel's defense minister said yesterday that this will be a long war. The price will be high, but we are going to win. This is cut 5.
Mr. Secretary, this will be a long war.
By the way, let me just I'm going to start this over, Daniel. He was speaking to Secretary Anthony Blinken. I'm starting this over, cut 5.
Mr. Secretary, this will be a long war. The price will be high, but we are going to win for Israel, for the Jewish people, and for the values that both countries believe in.
So I said in the big take this morning, or actually coming out of the big take around 6:45, the United States with basically be ready to be deployed messaging to 2,000 troops, another 2,000 that will come via the Red Sea. So you've got America investing 4,000 more American lives to this conflict. Doesn't seem to be like the way they're positioning it as combat ready, but more of like aid and assistance. And to me, this is going to be one of those things where, will they wipe out Hamas? Absolutely. I think the bigger concern is the advanced stages that Hezbollah has reached. Brett Baer had some panelists and some expert on last night. Hezbollah's got 100,000 soldiers, and they have 130,000 missile drones. This will not be an easy battle for Israel and the United States when we talk about in totality. Like, they'll crush Hamas. Hamas is like minor. Hamas is like the Reading Phillies to Hezbollah being the Philadelphia Phillies. So that's going to be wiped out pretty quickly. But to me, I think all the writing is there on the wall. Like, it's just a matter of when does the explosion happen, so to speak.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau put on his big boy pants and said that Canada asked Hamas to free all the hostages immediately because Justin Trudeau said so. This is cut 14.
Mr. Speaker, among the thousands of people affected by this violence, 5 Canadians were murdered by Hamas terrorists. 3 Canadians are reported missing,
obviously, this is
and may be hostages. I know that all parliamentarians and Canadians' thoughts are with them and their loved ones. Canada asks Hamas to free all the hostages immediately.
No word if Hamas has responded to Justin Trudeau.
Those Canadians, that's a tough bargain. We are asking you to release those hostages. If you don't, we'll just go on with our lives. Well, I tell you what, that Trudeau, you think Biden's imposing. Wait till a little soy boy Trudeau gets up there. His little almond milk. Trudeau. Who takes that guy seriously?
Release them immediately.
My
Don't.
God.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We don't. No.
Yeah.
That's fine. Please.
Yeah.
Was he waving the white flag as he was saying
God.
that?
Just embarrassing. I'm telling you, these nations that have evil intentions like Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, they just look at Biden and they look at Trudeau and they're like, this is what the West has to offer.
George W. Bush weighed in on the Israel-Hamas war. He says negotiating with killers is not the option. Obviously, we know him from the former president.
Yeah.
But the Iraq war, this is what he said, cut 4.
It's going to be chaotic, and it's going to be, look, it's a democracy. And
boy, he got old, didn't he?
Oh, he did.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. Cheeks are all rosy.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Sorry. We continue. Actually, let me start it over again.
Okay.
I'm going to start over at cut 4 here.
it's going to be chaotic, and it's going to be, look, it's a democracy, and in a democracy, the people's voices matter, and there's going to be a weariness. You watch, the world's going to be, okay, let's negotiate. You know, Israel's got to negotiate. They're not going to negotiate. These people have played their cards. They want to kill as many Israelis as they can, and negotiating with killers is not an option for the elected government of Israel. And so we're just going to have to remain steadfast. But it's not going to take long for people. That's gone on too long. Surely there's a way to settle this through negotiations. Both sides are guilty. My view is one side is guilty, and it's not Israel.
I agree with that, by the way.
Yes, I agree with that as well. But, you know, Bush has never seen a war he didn't like. So he's a lot like Lindsey Graham from the standpoint of, hey, man, let's send some bodies over there and let's start blowing some stuff up, because that's what the Bushes are all about. You're right. He did age. You know, he's also he's been out of the spotlight. You know, you think about the last 25 years of former presidents and families. You know, the Clintons are always in the spotlight. The Obamas always in the spotlight. Trump certainly. You don't hear much from Bush.
No, and
compared to the others,
there's a reason for that too. By the way, I just think he's
he's living his life.
He's done with it.
Yeah.
He is 77 years old.
Yeah.
Same as Trump, right?
You know what's funny is that you always have people locked in a certain age in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have this too?
Yeah.
And in my mind, George W. Bush is always the guy at ground zero. Like that image of him, like his face. I don't mean like what he was doing or what he was saying. I mean his face. That is the image I have and will always have of George W. Bush.
I always think of him throwing out first pitch at Yankee Stadium after 9/11 in the World Series. But yeah, I'm with you there.
Bill Clinton the same way. I mean, if you look like Bill Clinton, he looks deflated and he looks terrible.
He looks like he's on his deathbed.
Well, he's had a lot of health problems.
But in my mind, he's always, I think of the DNC convention in 1996, and he's giving a speech, in Chicago. Like that image will always be in my mind as far as Bill Clinton goes. So when you see him, it's just like, oh my God.
He's also 77.
Oh. Is Clinton 7? Wow. Mm-hmm. Jesus.
That's why when you see Clinton and George W. together,
right?
You realize Clinton's health problems. But again, 20 years older.
But again, we're talking about former presidents here who are 77, and now we're talking about electing one who is 77 or one that's 81.
Yeah.
So, like, boy, how far we've come. AOC was on CNN last night. She was commenting on Ron DeSantis' comment on Gaza refugees. Okay. You know, there's this debate about whether the United States should take in these refugees from Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
She called what DeSantis said destructive.
Yeah.
She also brought up the 6-year-old boy that was stabbed, and she links those two together, saying basically it's rhetoric like this that gets
it's conservative radio.
Innocent 6-year-old stabbed.
Yeah.
Cut 12 AOC here.
I absolutely think there's an openness. For sure. I want to get you to respond to something that a Republican candidate for President Ron DeSantis said about the potential for refugees from Gaza. Just take a listen.
And I don't know what Biden's going to do, but we cannot accept people from Gaza into this country as refugees. I am not going to do that. If you look at how they behave, not all of them are Hamas, but they are all anti-Semitic. None of them believe in Israel's right to exist.
There's a lot in there, but I wonder for you, is he touching on something that that is perhaps real here? Should Arab countries be taking on the lion's share of the burden to absorb what could be over 1 million, if not more, refugees from Gaza?
I think there's something to be said about the region's partners being able to support and step up Palestinians. However, that does not abdicate the United States from our historic role that we've played in the world of accepting refugees and allowing people to restart their lives here. And I also want to address something very specific about what Governor DeSantis said when he said, quote unquote, all Gazans are anti-Semitic. How incredibly destructive and dangerous that rhetoric is. We just had a 6-year-old boy stabbed 26 times this morning because of rhetoric like that. And it is dangerous, it is unacceptable, it is reckless, and no leader in the United States of America should be amplifying a message like that.
So I'm just going to throw this number back into AOC's face. And by the way, if I was hosting that show with her, I would ask her this question. And I thoughts and prayers to CNN if Abby Phillip is in a primetime slot permanently, because that's just god-awful. But that's neither here nor there. There are 49 nations around the globe where Muslim is the predominant religion. Why is the United States the YMCA shelter for every refugee across the planet?
Yeah.
Like, we have enough homeless people that are Americans in this country.
Vets.
Why are vets, people that served this nation? Why are we always the one? We talk about the southern border and people coming up from Mexico and then these sanctuary cities saying, oh, my God, I didn't realize how many there were. We're full. We can't help it. There's nothing left. Please help us out, President Biden. I don't understand the belief that America should welcome in. Again, keep that in mind. 49 nations. I don't know how many countries there are on the planet, but 49 are and here's the thing. And I've heard a few people say this on, I think it was on Fox, but nobody really wants to just echo it. Nobody wants to take in the Palestinian refugees. Iraq doesn't want them. Iran, Syria, Jordan. Nobody wants these people. And I'm not one of these people that will blanket statement everything. I mean, I think a large majority of them are anti-Semitic, but not every single one. That being said, I'm sorry. The United States is not a Motel 6 for everybody to leave their country and come here.
Yeah. And just because we've done it in the past, like every situation is different. We already have a problem with an open border and people coming in that we lose contact with and you know, are on terrorist watch lists. We already have a problem with that. We can't invite more of that into this country. I'm sorry, but we can't.
No.
So like look, I feel for these citizens that have no place to go, but not everything is our problem.
Well, and
not
also,
everything is our issue.
Let's also point out the hypocrisy too. You can't hate the West and hate America and hate what it stands for and then expect to be welcomed here and want to come here. Like, I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I'm never going to a Dallas Cowboys game. That would be hypocritical of me to do. So you can't sit there and say death to America and hate America, and then when the opportunity to come here arises, you're like, oh, I would love to come here. No, and it doesn't work that way.
Secret Squirrel writes, Nick, Muslim is not a religion anywhere. Islam is a religion.
Yes, okay.
Did you say Muslim is a religion?
Guess. Okay. I say 38,000 words a day. Get over it. I'm not dealing with snowflakes.
Don't get angry. Don't
no,
get
not
angry.
you. No, I'm just tired of some of these people. Every freaking word.
I'm sorry.
You do a show.
I'm sorry. I triggered him.
No,
I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
So I am aware Islam is the predominant faith, and it's Palestine, not Palestinian. I got you.
Would you like to hear some hate towards me to make you feel better, Nick?
No, I just want to. We're all under attack. We're just trying to save democracy here. I'd rather play Baby Shark. I feel like Will Smith in Bad Boys. Woo-saw.
We played one of her clips yesterday. I want to play another one. Secretary Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, was on with Sky News.
Yeah.
And they asked about Joe Biden running again and, his age and mental state.
I saw this.
And she said this. This is cut 2.
I know you're not backing a woman to be president in the next election because I know you'll be backing President Biden loud and clear. Does he still have the energy for another 5 years in the job?
Absolutely. He's very involved, very vibrant, is doing an excellent job. And I think when we face the kinds of troubles that we have in the Middle East, you can see the benefit of deep experience and understanding of global issues.
Vibrant energy.
There you go.
I don't use those two adjectives in a sentence with Joe Biden ever in my life. Janet Yellen did not believe a word she just said right there. There's no way she could believe that. Which, by the way, speaking of interviews in that setting, I saw, and I know you played some of Scott Pelley with Joe Biden yesterday from 60 Minutes.
60 Minutes, yep.
Pelley is getting crushed across the country today for basically leading questions to every, I didn't even pick up on it because I was trying to focus on what Joe's responses were. He bailed Joe out on every question. He gave him the answer in over every question. If you get a chance, and you can watch it on demand or whatever or on YouTube, go back and listen to the way Scott Pelley helps Joe Biden out get through those answers.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on
I
that.
didn't pick up on it either, but I saw a few clips that were posted, and he definitely did. It's like the way that I shouldn't say we, the mainstream media gives the softball easy escape out the back door for Biden is unbelievable.
Yeah.
They never do that with Trump.
Let me try and find some examples, and maybe I'll have that for 9:45.
Okay.
So the late shows came back last week, I guess it was, or maybe it was the week before. I don't remember. 2 weeks.
But if nobody's watching, did they really come back?
Well, the late show with Stephen Colbert, he has COVID. So he did a show yesterday. He got COVID already. I'm sure he's boosted and has 19 vaccines.
Symptoms are mild.
He has COVID. So he did the show from his house.
Oh, God.
Which you can always, it's really, when he does the monologue where he does without an audience laughing at everything he says, the jokes don't land.
It sucks even more than it normally does?
Yeah, there's something, I would have just said to him, his producers, I would have just been like, you know what? I'm just going to, I can't come back until I test negative.
Yeah.
So, let's just, we've been off for 6 months. It doesn't matter.
Let's just have a rerun.
Yeah, exactly. But he decided to go on the air, and this is what he sounded like and what he looks like. You have to see this video, too, on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Cut 11, Daniel.
Welcome, one and all, to The Late Show. Please have a seat. No, please. Thank you. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Keen-eyed viewers may notice tonight's show looks just a little different. I am not presently in the Ed Sullivan Theater. I'm in the Ed Sullivan house because this morning I woke up feeling not great.
Here we go.
Flaming throat, a little sweaty, coffee. I took one of those at-home tests, and it said that I am not pregnant. Then I took a COVID test, and it told me I am pregnant with COVID. So I took three more tests.
Yeah. See what I mean about the jokes just not landing?
He looks like he's in a hospital room with a curtain behind him.
Yeah.
And wait, did I just see that they posted the picture of his tests?
Yeah, he had 4 tests and he posted them.
So you need to show visual proof as if we don't believe you that
you don't care
that you had your throat was sore.
He's fine.
Yeah.
He's good enough to do the freaking show. Yeah.
Do your job again.
Exactly.
But this is work avoid all these. Greg's whole show is all about people who are doing work avoidance.
Yes, exactly.
Talking about themselves. Just be funny, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you notice what I'm saying though about without the audience there to laugh? These jokes just kind of he needs to. I'm not saying he's not funny. I am, but. Not that the jokes aren't funny, but he needs a different cadence or pace.
It further highlights how good we are at our jobs because we don't have a live studio audience or 14,000 producers.
Yep.
Yet we put on a great performance every day.
Amen.
And this schmuck's making $16 million a year, and he stinks.
He continues.
And they all agreed. I just want to take a second here to salute the manufacturers for making such a consistent and reliable product.
This is a pharma spot.
But did it really have to be so reliable? I was really looking forward to meeting Jada Pinkett Smith tonight. The only upside is, since I am isolating, no one can slap me for having her name in my mouth. So that's it.
Wow.
I have COVID-19 again, even though it's 2023.
Yeah.
I should at least have something new, like COVID-23. I hear it has a better camera and a USB-C charging port, so you can use it in Europe.
Wow. I just, these jokes are just, they're brutal without the audience.
I would just take his words. It's 2023, and you're talking about testing positive for COVID.
And by the way, dude, like just don't do a show.
Yeah.
Like it's fine.
Right.
The world went on for months without you. It can do another whatever it is, 7 days.
And like by the way, too, if you test positive for COVID anymore, I think in a lot of places you still have to notify the boss or whatever, and you stay home. But once you tell the people that need to know, like your employer, your immediate family, maybe anybody you were directly in contact with in the workplace, you don't need to tell the whole world you have COVID. Like this is where Greg is right when he says.
Stop getting our news from Twitter.
Like, not everything needs to be on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I will tell you right now, as somebody that lives his life and hasn't thought about COVID in 2.5 years, if I do get COVID at any point this winter and I am off, you will not know that I have COVID. You will just think that Nick Kayal took the day off or he has diarrhea. If Opelka is in here for a random morning, it will not be because I posted on Twitter that I tested positive for COVID and I feel relatively good. You'll have no idea. Because you know why? You don't care if I have COVID. That's the truth.
Can we get back to Stephen Colbert bombing without a studio audience?
Yes.
Right now I'm feeling, let's say fine. Just a sore throat and a bad case of the lonelies. And I can hear you saying "aw" in my mind, which only makes me lonelier. But thanks anyway. So for now, I'm here in my palatial curtain shop. I learned something interesting about COVID protocols today.
This is like
we still
bad
have
NPR.
them. That came as something of a surprise. I've been told I can return to the office and do the show live once I test negative, though. So I will keep you abreast.
Wow.
Well, thoughts and prayers in his speedy recovery.
Oh, my God.
And next, let's talk about seeds you need to plant in the fall.
Wow.
Here on NPR.
Now, this is an SNL spoof right here. If anybody from NBC was watching that, they are doing a bit on that Saturday night.
They won't.
No.
They absolutely won't.
They won't.
No.
Losers.
That's just it.
Yep.
Wow.
By
the way, with those shows, is Colbert the leader in the ratings against whoever he competes against?
Yeah.
Really?
So that's the best of the best right there?
Yeah, so it's Colbert, Fallon, Kimmel.
Colbert's numbers are bigger than Jimmy Fallon?
Yep. A lot bigger.
Wow.
Wow.
And Fallon abuses his coworkers.
You know what's interesting, too, about that is that he wasn't. And then there was a guy by the name of, and you guys will know this name, the dude who ran CNN for a quick second there. He took over as the EP for Colbert Show and told him, do politics. And as soon as he did politics, his ratings went through the roof.
That's a fireable offense.
But it worked for him, though. It worked for him.
Amazing.
Let's. Should we do the? No,
By the way, it's almost 8:50.
Yeah, I know. We should. Let's do the big. Let's save the big three for 9 o'clock.
Okay.
I apologize, Don. I just had so much here.
Yeah.
I have a lot on my plate.
I still got to get to my kangaroo video.
This is an NPR. Well, we can get to that in the 9 o'clock hour too.
All right.
Tommy Lee, the drummer from Motley Crue.
Yeah.
He was on with Club Random, Bill Maher, and he admitted to drinking. So he's 1 year sober, but he admitted to drinking 2 gallons of vodka a day.
2 gallons.
2 gallons of vodka a day.
The big jug handle.
The big jug handles.
Yes.
And what's more shocking about this is that he just went for like a full body scan, and this is what his doctor told him. This is cut 10.
Okay.
2 gallons a day. I swear to God. Gallons? Gallons, the big handle.
I know what a gallon is.
2.
So you drank 8 bottles of liquor?
A day.
Are you sure?
Yeah, ask my wife.
For how long?
Man, for a long time.
I mean, your liver must be made of asbestos.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can't believe, I pinch myself on a daily basis. I just did like the full body scan where they do, see, head to toe, everything. And I can't believe smoking, drinking, all the dumb or the fun that I've done.
Right.
Dude, the doctor was like, you're good.
Wow.
So his liver is a high-output vodka filtration system, which is remarkable. 2 gallons.
2 gallons
2
of vodka.
gallons.
you know what? Two of his 4 wives were Heather Locklear and Pam Anderson. I'm thinking they watered down the vodka.
You might have to.
I think it'd be awesome if they came out and said, "Yeah, idiot, I watered it down."
I gotta say too, they did a CBS Sunday Morning did a profile on the Rolling Stones on Sunday, and looking at Mick Jagger and Keith Richards and those guys, just all the drugs and everything they've done, alcohol throughout their lives, and they're both 80 years old.
Yeah.
And you see Tommy Lee, who just first of all, he has not an ounce of fat on him.
No.
And he smokes and he drinks and he's 60-some years old. Like,
He
obviously,
should be dead.
Obviously, these guys are the exceptions, not the rules.
Right.
But boy, it really throws out the window that, like, hey, if you keep drinking like that, you're going to go to an early grave.
Yeah,
will you?
Some things you can't really explain, like how that guy could scan out and be totally clean, and yet you see other people that go about their life incredibly healthy, and then they're dead at 62 for some oddball reason. But 2 gallons of vodka. I mean, I love a good vodka cocktail. I'm not going to lie. But 2 gallons.
Yeah.
That's 6 months consumption.
Yeah.
For the normal person.
And it's not like he did that a few times. He said he did that for a long time.
Yes, steady.
Oh, man. I mean, look, some people just, that's why I said a lot of your health and your wellness and stuff is genes.
It is.
It really is. You know what I mean? Like, you can take care of yourself and die at 50. Or you can drink 2 gallons of vodka a day, and he's probably going to live to be 100.
Yeah, he will. This guy's
but
I actually like this guy a lot.
What health treatments are they doing? Because like Keith Richards gets blood transfusions, so the rich and famous get the best health care.
Yeah, the best resources.
And they do stem cells. They do all kinds of blood. All this different blood stem cell stuff that they. And Keith Richards is always going for those treatments.
LeBron James sleeps in a hyperbaric chamber.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why his body recovers so well. If you can afford a hyperbaric chamber and you want to sleep in it, I suggest you do it. You won't be sore the next morning if you're 55 and you just got done playing golf. You'll wake up feeling like a 28-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that oxygen therapy.
Yeah. I remember my dad had to go to the hyperbaric chamber for his treatment with diabetes when he had to have a small amputation, and it was really bad. But the pure oxygen is so good for recovery of wounds.
Tommy Lee, drummer of Motley Crue, and
and once was with Pam Anderson.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, who wasn't? But
he's had every woman on the face of the earth, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, rock and roll's a good life, isn't it?
It can be.
Was that your dream? I know you're a music guy. Did you ever aspire to be like a rock star?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was either to be a rock star or be on the radio.
You got that really good hair.
Yeah.
You do. I could see you running and gunning with Tommy Lee back in the day in the 90s.
Tommy Lee was the 80s.
That's true. Well, Pam was in the 90s, though.
It was. Yeah.
You watched the whole bit.
Yeah.
Not that I watched. All right.
Now you have me obsessed with people who use the hyperbaric chamber.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it works wonders.
Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Michael Phelps, Justin Bieber, Madonna, Leanne Rimes, Beyonce, Jay Leno, Donnie Wahlberg.
There must be an anti-aging effect there if musicians are using it.
Like, why is Madonna?
Shafe on the YouTube chat wants to know if Tommy Lee's doctor is the same as Michael Jackson's doctor. Don't worry, Tommy, you're fine.
Michael Jackson was taking whatchamacallit to sleep every night.
Opioids, basically,
Profiterol.
Whatever. What's the stuff they use to put you to sleep?
Profiterol or something?
Is it Profiterol?
Or fentanyl?
No, what's the stuff when you're in the hospital and you have a surgery? Anesthesia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael Jackson would take the anesthesia stuff to go to bed each night.
Yeah.
They say it's the best sleep you ever get.
Propofol, you're right.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
I remember.
And benzodiazepine.
Yeah, that sounds addictive.
Benzos.
Like this benzo.
Yeah, it's all
so
about
it was
the
like
benzos.
a cocktail.
Yeah. 2 gallons. I wonder what kind of vodka he was drinking.
Oh,
what do you think he is?
He's drinking the good stuff. He's rich.
2 gallons of Grey Goose. Goes down a lot smoother than Bankers Club, I'll tell you that much. Not that I would know.
Nick aspires to be Tommy Lee.
I do, I'm telling you, man. 855-839-1210 is the number. I need to get me a vodka endorsement. Nick Kayal here for blah, blah, blah. But I'm not on the radio. I drink 2 gallons a week. All right, coming up next, we'll get to some news from Dawn with her Big 3 at 9. And I promised you if you're on YouTube, you're going to want to stay there.
Yeah.
A man saves his dog from a kangaroo who was attempting to drown the dog. I think this was a Hamas-trained kangaroo personally, attacking democracy. But we will get to that on the other side and some other good stuff as we continue. 9 o'clock hour is next here on Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Yeah, Num Chomsky says Tommy Lee used to mainline Jack Daniels. That's absolutely correct. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook right now. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Let's look to a Sunday, shall we? 8:20. The Miami Dolphins at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are favored by -2.5. I would take that right now. Eagles -2.5. Place a $5 bet and you get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, for just placing that $5 bet. Just go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg to sign up right now. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT, and he's the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, President PA. First online enrollment, new wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is not withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms of sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
There are so many discounts and offers at Cherry Hill Volvo. This 30-second spot is not enough time to share all the benefits of purchasing or leasing a new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Discounts and incentives for this month start at $5,000 and can be as high as $11,000. Purchase or lease a new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo now and take advantage of these fabulous discounts and offers. Visit us soon for the best selection of Volvos. The entire Cherry Hill Volvo team is waiting to partner with you.
Hey, it's Rich Scioli. Another chance to laugh. Join me at Parks Casino Club 360. It's another chance to come out and join us for a night of laughter for Joe Conklin's Comedy Night with MC Mike Baldini this Thursday, October 19th, 8 p.m., Club 360 Parks Casino. Enjoy great comedy with my man Kevin Downey Jr., Marion Groden. Tickets are just $20 and include your first drink. Doors open at 7 p.m. Go to parkscasino.com/comedy. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See you Thursday.
Bringing in your front line is as easy as 1, 2, key. SEPTA Key Advantage is a unique and valuable transit benefit program that gives your employees all-day, everyday access to the entire SEPTA system. That means your staff can get in for their first, second, or third shifts and even travel the system on their off hours, seamlessly and affordably, all thanks to you. Learn how easy it is to customize a SEPTA Key Advantage program for your team at SEPTA.org/partner programs. That's SEPTA.org/partner programs.
If you have Medicare plan questions and are turning 65 and getting inundated by mail and phone calls, learn the A, B, C, and D's of Medicare. Let the Senior Store answer all of your questions. Get your free evaluation today by visiting the Enrollment Center. Call a local Senior Store licensed agent at 877-YOU-LEARN-65 or by setting up an in-home visit. That's 877-YOU-LEARN-65 or visit theseniorstore.com. Enrollment starts October 15th. Not affiliated with the U.S. government or federal Medicare program.
Hey, it's Rich Scioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave. Don't treat yourself like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate. The best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Hey, we got to talk about QC Kinetics, the future of joint pain relief. It's right here in Philadelphia and our region. QC Kinetics Advanced Regenerative Medicine. It's awesome. It's pretty amazing stuff. I've talked to so many of you who have made the call, made the right call, and called QC Kinetics. And recently, one of the gentlemen said, it's like a miracle. So if you've been told more steroids or surgery are your only options, just hang on a second. Get a second opinion. Learn more about how you can harness your body's own healing agents, which then attack that joint pain. I'm talking lasting relief. QC Kinetics does not mask the pain. It's important to know this. So these treatments go to the very root, the very core of the problem, using concentrated healing properties that are placed directly into your aching joint, restoring and repairing that damaged tissue. So think about it, living your life this fall. No more pain in your knees, your aching hips, your shoulder, your back. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics. Call the local medical professionals. Get a free consultation. Do this before lunchtime today, would you? QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. You're going to thank me. Call 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000. QC Kinetics. Get up, get moving. All natural treatments. 999-3000. Call QC Kinetics. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Free speech lives here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
Welcome back in. Hour number 4 underway on a Tuesday morning. It is Kayal and Company. Nick, Dawn, Greg, Anthony, and Daniel. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. Dawn's Big 3 coming up at 9:15. Our morning mystery movie clip at 9:20. And by the way, the prize yesterday was tickets for tonight's home opener for the Philadelphia Flyers. But today, we have a pair of tickets to see actor and comedian Chris Tucker at the Met Philadelphia, which is coming up tomorrow, October 18th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.com. So another big prize coming up in just about 17 minutes. We'll get to what's on the cut sheet part due, as well as what's on tap for the Dawn Show and Who Won Twitter today. Also, this kangaroo video story, which is remarkable. Get to YouTube. We're going to get to that probably in the next 7 or 8 minutes here. But back to a lot of the stuff that we talked about earlier in the show this morning. If you missed the big take on Trump's gag order and the latest with the House committee going after Joe Biden over classified documents, you can get that in the big take. And then we got into a lot of the Israel-Hamas stuff on day 11 now. And one story that we did not get to is involving academia. And we talked a lot about these colleges and allowing this, hate speech to go on in their campuses. But one law professor is not going to stand for this. A Cal Berkeley Law School professor, his name is Stephen Davidoff Solomon, law professor at the University of Cal Berkeley, has advised the Jewish Law Students Association, quote, "Do not hire my anti-Semitic law students." Solomon is appalled by the demonstrations across college campuses in support of Palestine and even Hamas. He has since penned an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal asking employers to avoid hiring some of his students. The professor details how Berkeley's Law Students for Justice in Palestine organized a campaign last year asking other student groups to adopt a bylaw that banned supporters of Israel from speaking at all events. Now, we have given you a lot of these different college stories, a local story in the 7 o'clock hour this morning at Drexel with a dorm room being set on fire of a Jewish student. Firefighters and detectives have determined that it was intentional. They haven't found the suspect yet. But this full op-ed in the Wall Street Journal is very interesting, and I want to look at it from not so much the obvious standpoint of, hey, good for you, congratulations. I agree with this professor, but I want to look at this from a cancel culture perspective, because think about what this guy is doing here. He is basically educating these students in the field of law and then saying, upon graduation, do not hire these new attorneys in whatever law firm or governmental agency they might apply to work at, and are kind of kneecapping them with their career right out of the gate once they graduate from law school. And you would say, well, that's cancel culture. It is, and I actually am for this, because much like the First Amendment and free speech, I do not believe that you are immune to cancel culture if you are spewing hateful speech. I don't think you should avoid being canceled, whether you're looking for a job or you have one, if you are issuing these hate-driven messages. So that's kind of where I'm at on it.
I disagree with you.
Okay.
I think that what a lot of I highlight it for a reason, because I think it's deplorable. I think it's anti-Semitism out in the open. I think it's just being, coded as something more thoughtful than white guys with tiki torches.
Okay.
But for this professor to come out and do this, I think that I say all the time there's a difference between cancel culture and consequence culture.
That's a good point.
And it is not a cancel culture is like a collective organization trying to cancel you no matter what the public says because you did X or Y.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's up to the employer to look at these kids' records as a whole,
okay,
and say, yes, you know what, these are not the values that I want in my law firm, my organization, whatever, and then not hire him. For this professor to come out and say this, it's his right to do that. But I think that this does tiptoe the line of cancel culture.
So here's my question, because I think throughout the spring and summer, we saw conservatives and Republicans and anybody that just values free speech push back on Bud Light and Target. And I didn't call that cancel culture. I called that boycotting, because it's individuals basically going after a corporation saying, we'll hit you where it hurts. We will not support you. We will not buy your product. Here, it is a law professor speaking out saying, don't hire these individuals. So is this a boycott? Is he boycotting the employment of these anti-Semitic students? Is he trying to cancel him? So your belief here that, Greg, this does not fall under consequence culture?
No, because it's not the employer making the decision. It's somebody else.
A third party.
It's a third party saying, don't hire these people.
Okay.
Well, he's not naming anybody, right?
Which I think is a fair question to ask then in the next steps here. Well, are you going to I mean, I'm assuming some of these students will use their professor as a reference. If he gets contacted by the law firm of Hagen and Dawes, it says, no, you should not hire John Smith. He ran anti-Semitic speeches in his senior year of law school. He's anti-Semitic. Don't hire. I want to know where the actual consequence comes, because, I mean, presumably no law firm is going to know who's anti. It's like, you don't put that on your resume, right? Like, you don't put, I'm anti-Semitic under accomplishments at law school, right? So where is the actual punishment coming from here? Because unless this guy goes out of his way to name names, you would think that these anti-Semitic individuals are probably safe. You would think.
Well, or is he just painting with a broad brush? And so that's my question. If I'm a parent and if I helped pay for my kid's school and just presumably paid a lot of money to help them through law school, or if a student went through the law school and took out loans and so on and so forth, do they have a case to say, whoa, wait a minute, I'm being libeled or slandered? I mean, if they're law students and they paid attention, maybe they could sue because they're jobless now, so they have a lot of time in their hands, I guess.
Yep.
But I just think you should be careful. If your job is to teach somebody and they're doing something that's racist or hateful, did you report an individual?
Right.
Did you report them to the university and say, hate speech on campus, special alert?
Where's the
and
paper
if you
trail?
didn't, and if they didn't, but you're kind of painting all of your students, really, with this broad brush and basically slandering them and saying they're not hireable?
All right. Well, let me ask you this then. Like, if the same law professor decided that Nick Kayal, by what you do, you're an insurrectionist, and this company should not hire you because you support a man who, whatever.
Yep.
Isn't that kind of the same thing? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but to me, when you're
This is personal.
Right. This would
This is
be
saying I was their professor.
correct.
Right?
Correct.
I was in class with, I was their professor. Don't hire any of my students.
Yeah, but a professor could say the same thing. Well, this person has these radical conservative thoughts. Don't hire them.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but if the professor isn't saying a few of my students. A professor is writing a column saying, "Don't hire any of my students."
He goes
all
on-
of your students are anti. I mean, that's wow. If all your students are anti-Semitic, that's a real problem. If that's true, I suspect a few of them are.
Right.
But to me, he's trying to make a headline. I get it, but this is as somebody who's a legal scholar, I would think this is a mistake.
He goes on to say in this op-ed that the Wall Street Journal gave him, the student conduct at Berkeley is part of the broader attitude against Jews on university campuses that made last week's massacre possible. It is shameful and has been tolerated for too long. It's time for the adults to take over, and that includes law firms looking for graduates to hire. The law firm Winston & Strawn revoked an employment offer for a student at New York University Law School who wrote an open letter that pointedly refused to condemn Hamas's attack. Well, see, now then, in that given specific instance, then I have no problem with that guy getting canceled.
Because that's to Greg's point. It was specific.
Right, and you penned an open letter saying you will not condemn. Like, wait, so your refusal to condemn is actually your condoning of a terror attack. Again, it's the most basic, simple element that has befuddled me with this story for 11 days now. How anybody can be in support of a terror attack. How do you support, as somebody in the West, an American, or anybody over in this country, how do you get behind that? Did you not see what happened on 9/11? Did you condemn that? If you did, then you should be condemning this. I mean, it's very simple. And that's the thing that's so bizarre about certain segments of the LGBTQ plus community that are pro Hamas. And we've seen all the signs and all the people on social media saying, hey, who wants to let him in on the secret? Like, you're supporting a group that if you walked into their land, you're toast. I mean, these people are just so off base with their rationale, but that's what identity politics will do to you. 855-839-1210. All right, kangaroo story in a moment, but let me get Mark in the Northeast here. He's got some thoughts on hate speech. Mark, you're on Talk Radio 1210.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
It's the fact that these students, they advocated and supported murder, mayhem, pillaging, rape. It's not just the stupid, evil thoughts that they have. It's that they actually advocated and supported those crimes, crimes against the state law and crimes against humanity. And that's why those students are not qualified to be attorneys. They're not qualified to be hired by any law firm. And that's my piece.
Well, I mean, are they qualified from a merit standpoint? Probably, if you graduate from Cal Berkeley, but from a, logic and personal preference standpoint, you become unemployable.
Just be very careful with these roads you guys want to go down, because this can be turned around on not, I'm not saying you two, but I'm just saying this can be turned around on you just like that. Well, technically, what happened on January 6th was against the law and it's crimes. So if you support that, you're also supporting criminals.
Well, you're comparing walking into a building to beheading somebody.
No, but Greg, I mean, I get Greg's point, but if a future employer looks you up and you were on social media showing yourself in your Chewbacca little furry bikini in Nancy Pelosi's office, your future employee has a right to make a judgment.
Sure.
Maybe they think, hoorah, I love this guy, and they want to hire you, or they think, I'm going to take a pass. But this case is different, Greg, in the sense that this is a professor in a class with students, having a personal connection as teaching them, and now is going out saying, don't hire any of my students. He's not saying, hey, you might want to check out the social media accounts of my students, and, you know, some of them are really anti-Semitic and it's disturbing. That's not what he's saying. So to me, that's where he crossed the line.
I just look at a lot of these people in the support of Palestine and Hamas. They were all fired up about Black Lives Matter, but now it's like Jewish lives don't matter. So again, I think when you play the social justice warrior card publicly, whether you're a celebrity or you're just the average Joe 9 to 5, and you really point out the contradictions of your own argument. Like, you can't be pro for one group and equal rights and diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then say, oh, you know what, Israel had it coming. What?
Yeah, but in truth, I actually don't think all these students are anti-Semitic. I think they're just a bunch of sheep. And so they thought, the Palestinians are the one they're the victim. And so I'm just going to stand for the victim and say bad. I think it just shows that they don't know what they're talking about. They should shut their mouths.
Yeah.
But they are so triggered and so emotional, and they easily took propaganda that was put out there.
Yeah, they're always looking for
right?
something to petition and protest.
Right. And it shows that's the bothersome part,
Right.
is how easily they will follow.
I know.
And now I hope that this opens their eyes to go, oh, gosh, I didn't mean to say that I supported. Oh, they raped and they murdered. Oh.
Yeah.
And so that they're a bunch of sheep.
It's amazing.
Think for yourselves, people.
Wild to see just how many Gen Zers and the youth of today that just have this disdain for America. Like, oh, the United States, it's such a bad. Like, if it's so bad, then just leave. Like, nobody's forcing you to stay here. 9:16, this segment brought to you by Best Work Industries for the Blind. Best Work Industries for the Blind is changing lives, a nonprofit organization located in Cherry Hill. Best Work Industries for the Blind provides training and employment for people who are blind or visually impaired. For employment opportunities or to donate, go to bestworkindustries.org. All right, morning mystery movie clip in a couple of minutes. We'll save the kangaroo video for the bottom of the hour. But right now, let's get to Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 9:15.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
Big 3 at 9, sponsored by American Heritage Credit Union. Number 1, a dire warning from Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who says today, just this morning, no one can stop resistance forces if Israel continues to commit crimes. Yeah, so this is on Iran TV, by the way. This is what they have on. No cartoons there, I guess. So Iranian state TV reported, because they don't have freedom of speech, so this is state-sponsored TV, with Khamenei saying that, yes, the Muslims and resistance forces will become impatient. No one can stop them, no matter what the Zionist regime does. It cannot make up for the scandalous failure it suffered. If Israel's crimes in Gaza continue, yes, this is a dire warning. So watch out.
Yeah, interesting on that front. Road Warrior sent us a tweet about a half hour ago. He says, we are getting played with this deployment. It's cover for Hezbollah to not launch and for Israel to not strike the North preemptively. So all of this just kind of like a little chess game here, so to speak, according to Road Warrior.
Well, I'll say we always have to follow the money trail, and they're speaking of what's going on over there. Where are they getting the money as far as these forces? So there is word that they ordered that Israel's law enforcement have ordered the freezing of accounts on Binance. So crypto money is paying for the Hamas, for some of these terrorists.
Okay.
So they've shut down more than 100 accounts on cryptocurrency platform Binance after it was revealed that Hamas received $41 million through the site, and that was between 2021 to 2023. So they're trying to shut down not only the little tunnels underneath, but also the tunnel of money leading in. We talked a lot about Ivy Leagues locally, a huge walkout at Ivy League University of Pennsylvania with hundreds of faculty, students, and other supporters of Palestinians. They walked out of class for the entire day yesterday, including faculty, and called on the university to do more for its Palestinian students.
I've never been more proud to be a Temple alum.
All right. So Nick Kayal talked earlier about President Liz McGill's statement to the campus community. Well, that's what triggered them. They were very upset because President McGill made this statement denouncing anti-Semitism, calling out the Hamas attacks on Israel the week before, which was the first time yesterday that this statement was made, right? Never mentioning Palestinians or the deaths of people in Gaza, and that's what they're all upset about. And what was President McGill responding to for the first time, condemning this? Well, the president of Penn was responding to the recent Palestine Rights Literature Festival, which was rooted, many of those speakers had made anti-Semitic statements, etc. And so that was what, and Nick talked about this earlier, about the donors just shutting their checkbooks and saying, we're cutting you off by tens of millions of dollars.
Hundreds of millions.
Hundreds of millions.
Oh, we got
yes,
one guy
thank
from
you.
Harvard who's giving up $300 million a year. He's a billionaire, by the way.
Yeah, but not for nothing, but there are a lot of others who might need that money.
Yeah.
$300 million.
Yeah, Kensington will take it.
Right? There are a lot, look elsewhere. We can find a few spots. One of them was, the most recent was major donor John Huntsman Jr.
Yep.
And you talked about him earlier. He shut it down. Another one was Mark Rowan, who in 2018 gave $50 million to Wharton, and he stopped. There were others, and there was a board member over the weekend, we told you, I think yesterday, that they resigned in protest. So we have that. Number 3 in the big 3, traffic trifecta. 3 simultaneous sporting events tonight. South Philadelphia, Citizens Bank Park. Yeah. Wells Fargo Center, Lincoln Financial Field. Oh, my goodness. Citizens Bank Park. What a traffic jam. So they're just putting this out there. SEPTA, free parking, free public transportation, I should say, for the Flyers home opener.
So the Flyers are going to be in the Wells Fargo Center. The Phillies are in Game 2 at Citizens Bank Park. What's being used at Lincoln Financial Field? What events there?
Mexico v. Germany's men's national team soccer friendly, Lincoln Financial Field, 8 p.m. But all of the block parties for these start between 3 and 5 p.m. And so that's just it. The Schuylkill, all the 95, everything's going to be all jammed up with people just pretty much all afternoon, with people trying to get there probably by 3.
So there'll be 45,000 strong for the Phillies. The Flyers and all their sheep fans will show up. There'll be 19,000 of them.
See the Canucks.
And then we'll see about 17 total people in the link for an exhibition soccer match. Soccer.
No, soccer. People love soccer. But
got no interest in soccer.
They're saying Broad Street line, free rides. This is part of the issue, I think, is that all of this people should use public transportation.
Yeah.
I think the problem is, we know what the problem is, the fear of crime, etc.
Great night to go looting.
And then, to your point,
it's a beautiful night for looting.
Come down, have dinner at a restaurant. I would love to hear from restaurateurs who've survived at this point.
Yeah.
I was talking to a restaurant owner over the weekend, and they said, we are hanging on by a string. Nobody wants to go out for dinner we have amazing restaurant venues here in Center City in Philadelphia.
Yep.
People are going, you go to Conshohocken or the main line, you can't get in.
Yep. No, stay as far away as possible and take in all the other amenities on the outskirts of town. That's what I do.
That's the big 3 on this beautiful sunny 64 degrees. But I will remind you, if you're heading to either of those 3 events, you want to bring a jacket, maybe a hat, because it's going to feel like 49 after the sunset. So
that's
just
correct.
A heads up. American Heritage Credit Union, thank you for sponsoring us. The place for first-time home buyers, in-house realtors, and a $500 lender credit for new homeowners. Visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/FTH for all the details. Loans subject to credit approval, insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 433838. Kayal & Company, Big 3.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 9:23 as we get to our morning mystery movie clip.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal & Company. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
If one of your 2 supervising physicians loses their license, then your whole adjudication is thrown out.
How'd you know we were here?
I went by your parents' house looking for you, and they told me you was over
Danny,
here.
This is Tiffany. Tiffany, this is
Hey,
Dan.
Pat told me about you. So is this the girl you wrote about?
Yeah.
What? You wrote about me? I'm the girl?
He wrote about you, all right.
What did he say?
He said you guys was helping each other out, and you were nice, and you had a mouth on you, but...
Whoa, okay.
You're a little mouthy, but...
No, please, tell me more about what he said in the letter.
Yeah, anything you want to know, I'll just tell you in the letter. It was nothing about it. It was just a very general letter.
Cool.
She's fine.
She is my friend with an F.
A capital F. She's fine.
For friend.
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
It's a pair of tickets to see actor and comedian Chris Tucker at the Met Philadelphia tomorrow, Wednesday, October 18th, 2023. Tickets still available at Ticketmaster.com. Caller 12-855-839-1210. If you can identify that movie clip that featured Chris Tucker, you're going to go see him tomorrow night. We'll come back, get our winner, and then also the amazing video of Man v. Kangaroo. Get to YouTube, folks.
Yeah.
It's going to be epic. And we're back after this here on Kayal and Company.
Miller Lite has high hopes for the Phillies this season. So catch every game in Buckets off West Avenue in Jenkintown for $3.25 Miller Lite drafts all season long. Buckets features classic pub fare like their Buckets Buffalo Wings, Triple Decker Club Sandwich, and the Mucket Buck Burger. Watch the game at the best local bar in town with a great staff and better vibes. Enjoy every Phil's game at Buckets in Jenkintown. Buckets, a proud partner of WIP's High Hopes Pod with James Seltzer and Jack Fritz. It's Miller time, Phillies fans. Celebrate responsibly. First-time home buyers have a one-stop trusted partner with American Heritage Credit Union. With our first-time homebuyer program, you can earn up to a $500 lender credit. Our realtors can help you shop for your first home, and qualified borrowers can even receive up to $5,000 in first front door grants. To apply with one simple application, visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/FTH. All loans subject to credit approval. Insured by NCUA. Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 433838.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. It's engagement season, and let me tell you about a very special event coming up October 26th, 27th, and 28th. It's the Family and Company Jewelers Viraggio Bridal Show. For 3 days only, they're bringing in all new inventory and brand new designs. This is your chance to save hundreds, maybe even thousands on the ring of your gal's dreams. Head to Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey, October 26th, 27th, and 28th for the Viraggio Bridal Sale. Only from Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotics assessment in Walmart today, now in the foot care aisle.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Sebastian Maniscalco, live in Atlantic City.
Like when we went to the zoo as kids, that's all you got was the zoo. You ate in the car before we go in. What? They got food inside. You think I'm gonna pay? And when you got hungry, you left. Dad, I'm hungry. Okay, let's go.
Sebastian Maniscalco, Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa for 10 shows from November 9th through 18th. Get tickets now at theborgata.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Question for you. How many healthcare providers do you know who schedule downtime in their offices for team training? Not many. But my good friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz does that because he wants to ensure that he and his staff are well-versed in all the latest technology, so when he invests in new state-of-the-art equipment for his patients, he can rest assured that he and his staff can maximize the performance of the new technology. One of their latest investments is the Trios 5 scanner. Talk about amazing. The Trios 5 has an incredible design which reduces the potential for patients gagging or experiencing discomfort during the impression-taking process. Plus, Plus, the process is much faster, which saves Dr. Benson and his patients precious time. The scans are done, the plan is made, and the on-site lab gets to work. Dr. Benson and his staff are a well-oiled machine when it comes to your comprehensive dental care. They're always working to make that experience as comfortable and as seamless as it can be. Visit them at bentsdentalgroup.com.
You're invited to witness a groundbreaking documentary, America's Retirement Dilemma, a documentary of Wall Street's rigged system, featuring powerful exclusive interviews such as the top regulator over Wall Street, the Inspector General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, H. David Kotz, who indicates how Wall Street is rigged.
In the federal government, management is often a big challenge. Get the manager to do the right thing. It's a great concern.
The Chief Accountability Officer over the federal government, the United States Comptroller General, David Walker, further explaining the dilemma facing all Americans.
If we have another recession, the federal government doesn't have any more tools in its toolbox.
Hear these experts and more exclusive interviews with powerful industry leaders, esteemed economists, and top researchers at the Springfield Country Club, October 24th. Registration is required. 1-800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's Kayal Company, 9:30, Tuesday morning here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. What's on the cut sheet, part 2, coming up in about 5 minutes. We'll find out who won Twitter today and what's on tap for the Dawn Show. Looking like another beautiful day here in the city of Philadelphia. Jerry.
Did I say the other day, for the month of October, we've had lovely Tuesdays?
Yeah. Saturdays go to hell.
No lovely weekends,
No.
just lovely Tuesdays.
No. Nope. So much so that I had to waste money on the pumpkin patch on Friday night because
Yeah.
Saturday would be a washout.
Yeah.
Still steamed up about that. All right. Jerry is in Wilmington. He's identified our movie clip, and he's with us this morning. Jerry, what Chris Tucker movie did we just play for you, sir?
Good morning. It's Silver Linings Playbook.
That is correct, sir. Bradley Cooper as well. And congratulations. You got yourself the Chris Tucker tickets.
Great.
All right.
Super.
Thank you. There he is.
How do I
Jerry.
get them?
How do I get him?
Should I put him back on hold?
Yeah.
I'll put him back on hold, and we'll put him in the bathroom, and we'll leave him there. He's got the radio on in the background. You can hear the show in the background.
How do I get him?
There you go. Hey, am I caller 12?
By the way, somebody pointed out on the YouTube chat that we just played this. We just had this movie recently.
I don't recall that. Silver Linings Playbook?
I think we did, but it
Did
was
we?
a different scene.
Okay.
But still,
Not to my
I think we
knowledge.
did.
Anthony, hop on the mic here.
I don't know.
Did we just have this? Did we just have this movie recently?
Yeah, I think we did.
I did it a while ago. I don't think I did it recently.
How
I
far
was
back
actually
is a
going to do
while
Rush
ago?
Hour 2, but I did that in August, so I avoided doing Rush Hour 2.
That's what it was. We played Rush Hour.
I could have done the original, but I think that's too easy. Like, at least this is a little harder, I feel like.
Yeah.
Will you pick up on Jerry in Wilmington and let him know where?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll send him to. We'll leave him for Jerry at will call, as they used to say. All right, let's get to this kangaroo fight video.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe this. This is one of the most amazing things I have ever seen. If you're on YouTube, you'll see it. If not,
YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT. Get over there now if you want to see the video.
So we're going to play this for you, and we'll narrate. There is some audio of the man as he gets into the fight with the kangaroo in the water, but we will walk you through it. So if we could, let's fire up the video and the audio, and we will break this down.
I don't think I have any audio here, but okay.
Okay, well, there he is.
Okay.
So they're in the water. The kangaroo. I mean, this man, it's an Australian man.
Yeah.
And his dog is in the water.
Yep.
It has to be about maybe 2-3 feet of water. The dog looks very frantic. The kangaroo is standing on his back feet behind the dog.
Yeah.
In what looks to be like, maybe a sexual position, so to speak. And he's attempting to drown this poor dog. Like, he's got him around the waist, and he's standing over his shoulders and his back. And by the way, the kangaroo is ripped.
He is.
Yeah.
Like, this kangaroo's on steroids.
It almost looks fake, doesn't
I don't
it?
think he's trying to drown him.
No, it's what the story was. The situation, Australian Mick Maloney.
He's humping him. Huh?
Yeah.
Look at honey. Look at. He's a horny kangaroo.
According to the Australian Broadcasting Company, he was trying to drown this man. And so the man who's recording it says, all right, you're not going to do that. You're not going to F with my dog. And he punches the kangaroo right in the face. And the kangaroo took a good shot.
Wow.
He backpedals a little bit and puts his fists up, his paws, his mitts, whatever you want to call them.
It's crazy.
I mean, this is, this kangaroo's acting like a Phillies fan after 10 Miller Lights. Like, he's ready to go.
I didn't realize kangaroos stood up like that.
Oh, yeah.
You always see them kind of like hopping, but like that, it almost looks fake to me. It almost looks like a person in a kangaroo like outfit or AI or something.
And this kangaroo's on high alert, too. He's got the head on the swivel. He's waiting for more crazy Australian men. He thinks that there's a threat to democracy here.
I didn't realize kangaroos were so nasty.
Wow.
That is a funny video.
Yeah, according to this story, that kangaroos,
poor dog,
for those of you that don't know, can be incredibly aggressive animals. They are very strong, and they will attack human beings or dogs and are attempting to drown them if they find you in a water-like setting.
So I didn't. Oh, really?
Look at the claws on this thing.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, this thing's got to be 5 feet tall. I bet you it's a good 140 pounds. I mean, he's bigger than Valdez. Who would you take in a fight, the kangaroo or Valdez?
100%. I would take the kangaroo over myself. I mean, by the way, we have a ton of people watching right now, obviously.
Look at him standing there.
So if you're watching right now, please hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button if you have not done so yet.
Yes. I tweeted it out as well.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. By the way, speaking of YouTube, Chris Mady on Twitter or on YouTube. I don't know if this is true or not. He says, "Hey Nick, I live in Bucks County and I own kangaroos. You are more than welcome to come up and visit with your girls and meet my kangaroos. Mine are nice."
I'm going to pass on that, bro.
We'll
skip on that.
Do we believe that? Do we buy that somebody in Bucks County owns kangaroos? Where does one get kangaroos?
I mean, it is Bucks County. It's a big county. You get to some of the backwooded areas, you might have a kangaroo. But it's a domesticated kangaroo. He's trained this kangaroo. This is a kangaroo in the wild. Here's what I'll do.
Kangaroo is scary.
For the betterment of this show, for the brand, if he's being honest and he really has kangaroos,
how can he have kangaroos?
I will go meet this individual. We will send a station.
We're gonna see Nick Kale
send
being
a station.
humped by a kangaroo.
If you want to see me get pounded by a kangaroo.
You want to pound it and then do like a dry rub.
Right.
Nick will be like, help! And then you'll see Anthony Dorenzo come and try to hit the kangaroo to save him.
We'll have Valdez film it, and Dorenzo will be there with a steel chair in case it goes bad for me.
Valdez will be like, I'm filming it. I'm not getting close to that
There's
thing.
There's no way that is a serious.
Email this. Have this guy email you.
All right, if you're still watching, Chris.
Yeah.
Email Greg.Stocker@Yahoo or at what am I at? Odyssey. Greg.Stocker@Odyssey.com.
Yeah. I will do it. I will meet a kangaroo.
You don't take your girls though.
No, my girls aren't coming. No.
Okay.
No, just me.
Okay.
There was a story a few years back about a lady in Bucks County who tried to steal a kangaroo. I wonder if this is from their refuge or whatever.
Yeah, are they from Palestine? Are these Palestinian kangaroos?
No, it's like Quakertown.
Okay. Are these
There was a
radicalized
story
kangaroos?
3-4 years ago.
By the way, if there's gonna be kangaroos, they're definitely gonna be in Quakertown.
Yeah. Well, that's Bucks County. That's Bucks County as well.
Yeah, I know.
So. Wait, is it in Bedminster? There is a petting zoo in Bedminster. Bucks County.
Bedminster, Bucks County?
Yeah, there's a Bedminster, New Jersey, and there's a Bedminster, Bucks County.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But there was a lady, a Quakertown lady, who tried to kidnap a kangaroo.
Yeah.
A couple years back.
All right.
Maybe it was, but it's like they have a petting zoo.
Daniel, can we play before cut sheet part 2? Can we play the kangaroo video one more time?
Well, I'm assuming that kangaroo in Bucks County votes red.
There it is. Here, look at
the dog. The dog's panicking. The dog thinks he's done. The dog has already given up.
But that owner saved his dog. I like it.
I know. It's the point of the story.
Yep.
Dawn, would you do that for Buddy?
Oh,
Would you jump into Delaware and punch a kangaroo in the face?
Totally. But the kangaroo is defiant.
I know,
it has
the kangaroo.
claws.
I
It's
know.
standing up, but it is.
We actually have audio of what the kangaroo was saying.
I am woke, mother, and I love it.
It's a nasty kangaroo. And like, so the poor guy is like his dog, runs in the wall. The poor dog is like, oh, and the dog you see afterwards is kind of dazed because the kangaroo was trying to hump him.
Oh, he's getting drowned.
And then he's
being
getting
humped.
drowned. Poor dog.
Zenro on the YouTube chat says, Greg, there's another kangaroo clip with a dog, and you see the guy actually boxing.
Yeah. Oh, this kangaroo's ready to throw. I mean, he's got his fists up. He's like, come on, human. What do you got? You want to film this? I'll take you out, too.
What's with their, why do they drown? Like, is that, I guess that's the way
That's how they kill their victims, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like a python or a snake just squeezing the life out of you.
You know, everybody always talks about wanting to go to Australia. I have no desire.
interest.
I have no interest in going to Australia.
None whatsoever.
They have, there's
it's a long trip, too.
Gators and kangaroos and snakes and like all kinds of things that'll kill
Sharks.
you.
Takes like a month to fly there. It's unbelievable. All right.
A month.
It's a beautiful place.
I'll watch it on TV.
Just give me Crocodile Dundee.
Down under.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah,
Paul Hogan.
Yeah. So if there is a kangaroo court in Bucks County, I will gladly go and film it.
By the way, we're 10 likes away from 200. So if you're watching right now, please hit the like button. We're 10 likes away from 200.
All right. 9:40. Let's get to round 2 of What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the Cut Sheet?
Part 2. What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2 is sponsored by Wawa. Hey, Wawa has pizza. It's freshly made, tastes great, and you can get it late. Right now, there's a $0 delivery fee when you order Wawa pizza at Wawa.com or on the Wawa app. Gotta have a Wawa. Wow. A $0 delivery fee. Nick Kayal. You can do that for your pizza cheat day.
I know. Friday at Wawa.
$0 delivery fee.
Yeah.
Gotta have a Wawa. Thank you, Wawa. Ron DeSantis. I was waiting for the clip.
Oh, you want that?
Mustard.
Was on with Dasha Burns.
Mustard.
About that?
Was on with Dasha Burns on NBC, talking about the conflict that is happening right now, as from how it would have been under Trump versus how it is right now under Biden. This is what he said. This is cut 15, Daniel.
I would support their judgment on defending their country.
And lastly, former President Trump, you've had his rhetoric recently, which you've responded to, but he has been touting what the world order was like, particularly in the Middle East, under his administration. Do you think there's anything he should have done differently while he was in the White House that could have potentially changed things today?
Well, look, I mean, I think clearly things have deteriorated under Biden. I think we have some of the worst situations now that we've had in quite a number of years. So I would much prefer Trump's approach to Biden's approach 100%. Now, Donald Trump did also relieve sanctions on Iran oil, and so they did get more money under him. I had criticized that at the time. I was opposed to it. But if you look at the balance of things, clearly Biden's handled all this stuff much worse.
So why Trump? Why would you be better to handle this conflict than Trump if he has a track record of handling this well?
Well, I think I actually have a really good track record of handling crisis situations. If you look, we handled COVID in ways that have made the state the envy of the country. We've handled hurricanes. We've handled the Surfside Tower collapse. And now this situation where you have a war halfway around the world and we're springing into action, rescuing people and bringing it back. So I get the job done when everything's on the line. And that's, I think, what people are looking for right now, leadership.
Lastly,
So he has done a fantastic job with every crisis he has faced in Florida. But what you do in Florida pales in comparison to the global stage. Also, he's pretty much in agreement with Trump across the board there, except for maybe some sanctions on Iran. But Dasha Burns, I love these questions of, they act, and I say they, the mainstream media, they act like we're a year into the Joe Biden administration. Like, we're 3 years into that almost already. So bringing up Trump, especially after the accords that he pulled off and was able to achieve, like, to me, like, that's right there. Like, if this we're doing journalism 101, I would be like, this is bringing up Trump is really not applicable right now. This is a Biden disaster. Trump has nothing to do with this, other than the fact that everything was good when he was in the office.
I just feel like it's time for these Republican candidates to either, S or get off the pot.
We're getting there.
I'm tired of this. They're all kind of, toying around like, oh, yes, I'm like, dude, Ron DeSantis, I'm sorry, bro, you're not going to be president.
I know.
So, like,
what I've been saying.
It's kind of a wasted feature here now is to have, like, what would a President Chris Christie do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
So you've heard enough of all of these guys, is
Yeah,
what you're saying.
like, what would a President Greg Stocker do?
Right.
I have just as much chance of winning the Republican nomination as Chris Christie does.
Yeah. I think Tim Scott's going to be dropping out real soon.
Well, yeah, his money's drying up.
That's correct.
And they said it's not. What was the quote? It is not the time that anybody wants to rally around anybody but Trump or something like that. So,
yep. Going to start dropping like flies, folks.
We reported how news organizations are handling what's happening in this. The BBC has gotten some flack for having I'll say pro-Hamas. They say pro-Palestinian viewpoints on. Well, this reporter, she apologized for saying pro-Palestinian protesters are Hamas supporters. So she had to get on the BBC and apologize.
Now, before we go, earlier on BBC News, we reported on some of the pro-Palestinian demonstrations at the weekend. We spoke about several demonstrations across Britain during which people voiced their backing for Hamas. We accept that this was poorly phrased and was a misleading description of the pro-Palestinian demonstrations. Now, here's the weather.
Now here's the weather.
Oh, my God.
Time for the local on the 8s. My God.
And now, here's the weather.
Wow.
Don, I need you to make a transition like that tomorrow in the 6 or 7 o'clock news. Give me the most gruesome story we have in Philadelphia, and then immediately pivot to the 5-day
now
forecast.
here's the weather.
Just give me the damn 5-day forecast and try to be accurate. That's all I want.
Wow, we have a sound drop for everything, don't we?
We do.
Oh, my Lord.
We do. And Bruno will be with us tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. It's Bruno Wednesdays.
That's correct.
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays come around real quick, don't they?
Yep.
All right. Coming up next, we'll find out what's on tap for the Dawn Show today and who on Twitter today. We're back after this on 1210 WPHT.
We're introducing Wendy's newest addition to the morning lineup. Say hello to the Wendy's all-new English muffins. They're here and they're ready for breakfast. Choose between our tasty grilled sausage, a fresh cracked egg and gooey cheese, or that Applewood smoked bacon, fresh cracked egg and gooey cheese. All of that comes sandwiched between a warm English muffin. These English muffins are the perfect way to start the day. All you gotta do is pick one. Grab an English muffin for breakfast this morning. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's breakfast at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
There's nothing like football season. And this year, fans in Philly can listen to Penn State football free. Catch every Nittany Lions game live with Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Free on the Odyssey app. Every touchdown, every tackle, every win. All right here. To get started, download the Odyssey app today. That's AUDACY. And search for WPHT. Available for Philadelphia listeners only.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Venaria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Venaria is and has been my dentist also. And, you know, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to them, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Venaria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Venaria's office does everything. Dr. Venaria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit venariadental.com.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
It's John from Rhino Shield. Fall is here, and now would be a great time to protect your home with Rhino Shield's 25-year guaranteed exterior house paint. Don't let your home's exterior weather another winter without our exclusive weatherproof house coating. It goes on like paint and looks like paint on any exterior surface. But with Rhino Shield, your home is protected, and you'll never have to paint again. Join thousands of your neighbors who have already made repainting a thing of the past by calling Rhino Shield today. for a free consultation and our lowest pricing of the year. Call us now at 484-406-5111. That's 484-406-5111. Or visit us online at myrhinoshield.com. Remember, traditional paint just doesn't last, but Rhino Shield does.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's Custom Fit Orthotics Assessment in Walmart today, now in the foot care aisle.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
President Biden is expected to visit Israel on Wednesday in a show of support to the state. Philadelphia police have made an arrest in connection with the airport garage shooting that killed one officer and wounded another. And the Phillies hold off the Diamondbacks to take Game 1 of the NLCS.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Tuesday morning, Kayal and Company putting another bow on another show. Tony Bruno tomorrow at 8:25 for Wednesdays with Bruno. A little Flyer home opener tonight. Phillies game 2. We'll make a prediction on that in just a few moments. And who won Twitter today? That's all still ahead. But right now we find out what Dawn Stenzlen has lined up for the top of the hour on the Dawn Show this morning.
Yeah, well, first of all, former President Donald J. Trump is expected any minute now to go through those doors in New York City to the court, to the Manhattan court, where he was attending his ongoing trial the first several days. So this is New York Attorney General Letitia James' $250 million lawsuit against him. It's a civil suit, but he's expected to walk in any minute. So if he says something, we're going to roll on it, make sure, because usually he walks in about 55-ish and has some interesting things to say. So we're monitoring that one, and we'll follow the feed. And lately, the networks don't really carry it, so we'll take it all if they do it. And then we also have coming up at 10:05 Amanda Greenberg, who is a Chester County School Board candidate. Because remember, TikTok, we're just a few weeks away from a general election across our region. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully this has a high voter turnout. That's what Republicans are hoping for. And we've talked a lot about what's happening with Republicans being more motivated than Democrats. But these school board elections and the judge elections, especially for the Superior Court of, the highest court of Pennsylvania, these are critical elections.
Oh, they matter for sure.
Yes. And then 10:30, our friend Cindy Ziff, Clean Ocean Action, will update us on what's happening down the Jersey Shore with the wind turbines, the Biden administration, the Murphy administration. She's got some updates there, so we want to keep getting updated by Cindy. She's great people, and so we got a full show coming up.
All right, Dawn Show at 10 o'clock this morning as we find out who won Twitter today.
Before we do this, that gentleman, by the way, Charis, Charis? I don't know.
Okay.
He's the one who owns the kangaroo. And he says you have to be licensed in PA to own kangaroos, which I am.
Oh.
And a lot of other people are saying people can totally have kangaroos. My cousin Sal had one for a while as a pet. That was Newman Price. So apparently it's a thing.
Okay.
You can. So I'm guessing that this dude is going to show you his kangaroos.
Yeah. Cool. He's going to be the nicest kangaroo of all time. He's going to be a mostly peaceful kangaroo.
Oh, man.
Which think about the parodies we could do with this. Kayal and the Kangaroos.
I kind of like that.
Marketing ability everywhere, baby.
But you know what? I'm thinking instead of a canine, you have a kangaroo, like these stores that keep the shoplifters come up and just punch somebody.
I agree.
You know,
we should fund the kangaroos. If we're going to defund the police, we might as well have kangaroos.
This crazy kangaroo.
Can you that's a great. Can you imagine if kangaroos are running loose in Philadelphia?
Yeah, imagine a nice kangaroo in front of an Apple store. You want to loot? Watch what happens.
Wait, we just struck onto something here.
You just see a kangaroo like a security guard standing at the door.
Let the kangaroos loose in Kensington.
Yeah. And go like, yo, if you let my kangaroo, we won't press charges for the shoplifting if my kangaroo can finish.
I'm
sorry.
You always go
punching and kicking. I meant.
You always go
I'm
there.
sorry.
You always go the last
I
mile.
meant punching and kicking.
Yeah.
You think kangaroos are carnivores or vegan?
They're carnivores, I think.
Okay.
Let's look it up.
So there's no interest in meatball. All right, let's
kangaroos. Now I have to look at our kangaroos.
Look it up.
Who won Twitter?
Consumer Cellular sponsors Who Won Twitter today. Irk, our buddy Irk wins Twitter. He says, only when I hear people screaming about pronouns or being transgender on TikTok do I start thinking that maybe Al-Qaeda had a point.
Oh, my God.
All kangaroos are not carnivores.
Oh, okay.
They're not carnivores.
They're vegans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Consumer Cellular offers the exact same nationwide 5G coverage as the major carriers, even in bumper-to-bumper traffic. And I know a lot of you are in that now. Their 100% U.S.-based support is just a click or call away, Plus, activation is always free. Visit consumercellular.com to switch today. Consumercellular.com. Thank you for sponsoring.
Yes.
Who on Twitter?
There we go. All right, so Phillies Diamondbacks tonight, game 2 of the NLCS. Thoughts and predictions for you, Mr. Stalker? You have a $20 advantage, I think, still.
I'm up $20 on you. The over-under, according to our friends at FanDuel, FanDuel.com/Greg, is 7.5. So I think I'm going to go over on the 7.5. I will go the Phillies 6, the Diamondbacks 2.
All right. I'm going to go with the under. Aaron Nola 2-0. His ERA in the postseason 1.42. Give me the Phillies 4-2 tonight, and I'll take the under 7.5 runs.
Beautiful. So this will either be you double it for me, 40,
or we're back to Skull Square.
or we're back to all square.
Yep.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Stay tuned. The Dawn Show is coming up next. We're back tomorrow morning at 6, and as our favorite press secretary would say,
I'll see you tomorrow. Come talk to me.
Hey, it's Rich.